opinion and carry any.
Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hello, everyone. Welcome and happy Monday. It's your boy, Chris Avalon. Welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically get into all the things going on social media, celebrity news, gossip, hot topics. You know the tea. We talk about it on here if it's juicy and whatever's going on popping in the world of entertainment. So before we get started with some of our upcoming topics, I'm going to give you all the rundown for. Please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. Oh yeah, I had to send somebody a message real quick before we went live. I was trying to multitask. And I know I'm a little late, but I wouldn't be me if I wasn't. Only by a few minutes. Okay, so we have we're gonna have getting some entertainment news. We have we got to talk about Joker 2 and the fact that it flopped hard at the box office. I don't know why y'all surprised. I'm kind of cackling at the whole situation, but I do feel bad for those who are a part of the franchise because Warner Brothers is exactly what y'all get for trying to be greedy. But anyway, we'll talk about it. Plus, Sarah Michelle Gellar recently did an interview and said, I'm not, because people apparently want her to come back to be in the requel for I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, for those of you who are a little slow, or maybe you got a little short-term memory, she did die in the first one. And look, the movie was 20-something years ago. You ain't see it by now. Oh, well. It is on one of the streaming services, I think Peacock. But anyway, she said, I'm dead. Like, how am I going to come back? So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we got to talk about Madonna and the fact that her brother, Christopher Ciccone, who played a prominent figure in the early stages of her career, like with the Blonde Ambition tour, things of that nature, he passed away from prostate cancer, I believe. So we're going to talk about that and the fact of what her final gesture was for her, you know, in his dying days. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Halle Berry is calling out the Shady Sugar Honey iced tea popping off in Hollywood after Matthew Vaughn basically revealed that he quit X-Men 3 The Last Stand over the studio trying to be a little sneaky behind the scenes. So this story actually came out last year, but now she's finally, I don't know why Hollywood people be so delayed in the responses, but apparently she's responded a year later after he revealed what he revealed at Comic-Con. So for those of you not familiar, I'm going to refresh your memory and I'm going to bring you what she said. Plus, the Diddler's mother, Janice Combs, and them synthetic shake and go wigs that she be buying from the corner store of your local hair person. She finally found the need to get up on social media and break her silence on the accusations about her son, calling it a public lynching. So we'll get into that. Plus, his former bodyguard, Gene Deal, is spilling some tea. And I don't know if y'all seen this clip, share, but I definitely had to bring it to y'all, especially out here claiming that Usher apparently was SA'd by the diddler, allegedly, and had to go to the hospital for some anal tearing. So we're going to get into that. I know it's a little graphic, but that's what he said. And I got the clip and everything. Plus, R.Kelly's grifting ex-wife, Drea, I'm getting in on you. She apparently is writing a tell-all book trying to capitalize on Kells being in jail. And so she's writing a book. I guess it's going to be about as long as Melania's, because what else you going to put in there that we already know about? So there's that. And then we have Rosie O'Donnell is weighing on the Menendez brothers campaign, trying to get them free because, you know, she actually, for those of you who don't know, has been very close with the Menendez brothers. She speaks to them. She's been very close and watching this case for decades. And she says she thinks they'll be out in the next 30 days. I don't know about 30 days, but we'll see. But we'll talk about that. Plus, Luke Bryan, child, I knew this was coming. The minute he spoke about Beyoncé, I knew the BeyHive was going to come swarming his behind over some of the stuff he said. And so we're going to break that down. Plus, we got some Drag Race news. Nelania they said she asked Global All Stars producers to disqualify Queen Kong because she said she was bullying her on the show. Well, I don't know if there was bullying going on, if there was some. For those of you who have been paying way more close attention than I have to this current season, because this season is god awful. That's probably why I have not really been paying as hard attention to the show as I have in other Drag Race shows. So we'll talk about that. She said she was being bullied. I'm like, okay, sis. Now, that's a strong word, especially when you're saying a woman of color is doing that to a white woman. But we'll talk about that. Plus, drag queen Patagonia is considering legal action against her. She's a political queen. Kind of like Marty Goo Cummins, who is another political queen that works in New York spaces and stuff, and does a lot of stuff. But a lot of people really aren't familiar with her because she's never been on Drag Race. But I'm telling y'all, she is well known in New York. But anyway, so Patagonia is talking about she's considering legal action against Trump because he used her image in an attack ad, I think for like transgender people or something or another. So we'll talk about that. Plus, there was this story that happened over on Friday, but I've kind of been going back and forth on whether or not I want to discuss it on this show. So y'all let me know in the comments if you want to talk about it. So apparently on Friday, I did post all over my social media that two adult film stars by the name of Porfy Maximus and Fitness Poppy, Puerto Rican guy, 6'4", like gargantuan, real muscular. Some people like to read the fact that he got an average sized dick, but I always say that's how God divides. Like, you can't have everything. You cannot walk around here with Diego Barros peeing between your legs and you got, the body the size of the Hulk. That's not how it works. Maybe it does in fan fiction. Maybe it does in, animation and those porn animations that they do, but not in real life. God got to divide. It's like as I like to say. That's why a lot of times when I be saying with the little skinny ones, you got to watch out for them because they be walking around with some anacondas down to their knees. But nevertheless, what I'm trying to get to is I was wondering if y'all were interested in hearing that story because there was a whole situation that broke it down. There was a video footage of him showing stuff from the apartment of their argument and all that stuff. So if y'all care enough, let me know in the comments if we talk about it. If not, we can move on. But I basically kept everybody in the loop while it was happening on social media. But I did find it funny that people would literally apologize to me. So, oh, sorry, you went through this. And I'm like, that's not me. Like, y'all literally thought I'm gonna let another homosexual that I'm in a relationship with be my ass? I don't think so. That's not happening. Both of us is going to the hospital, or you going to the hospital, but somebody is not making it out alive, and it damn sure ain't gonna be me, because a man put his hands on me, we fighting. I'm not one of those. Like, I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn, aka the hood. So I don't just be letting nobody putting their hands on me. I don't care who it is, whether we're in a relationship, friendship, whatever. You ain't doing that and getting away with it and making it out of your house alive. So anyway, let me look at the comments. Diddy is trying to sneak baby oil into his cell. Okay. But they said they got drugs in it. So, and I'm wondering if he's actually going through the withdrawals. He's been in there a lot. I mean, he's been in there a while. So I'm wondering how long does it take for people to go through the shakes and the withdrawals and stuff before they fully get better. I don't know, because I've never been in that situation. So I don't know what people go through in that point or how long it takes. Yes, but we don't only just crack jokes in the show. You can ask me a serious question. And they said, did you see Felon Flush basically paying people to register Republican? Who the hell is that? Register Republican and vote for who should not be named. Yeah, I just heard about Sissy Houston. I was gonna bring that up. I heard that Whitney's mother passed away. I literally heard about that moments before I went live, and I was gonna bring that up, but yeah, unfortunately, we lost Whitney mama at the age of 90. Sad to hear. Hold on. That was sad to hear about Miss Sissy. Why is Ron DeSantis popping up in my that old queen? Now that's a queen chick. They said he refused to take any calls from Vice President Kamala Harris about storm recovery. And that's the thing is Florida is struggling right now, and they're about to get hit. They're literally about to get hit with another storm if it hasn't happened again. If it hasn't happened already, I mean. And here this man goes refusing aid, and what they'll run around and say is, oh well, she refused to help the people in Florida, trying to find a way to sabotage the situation. But I need people to do their research before they start running off with that narrative, because there has been money given. And then there was somebody that was talking about how they was a black homosexual, which I'm like, child, I don't need you on here. If this is what you gonna say is, oh, I was a fan of yours and I followed your channel, but then I unfollowed your channel after I found out, well, basically after what I said about Shazam supporting Trump and how I cannot be friends with a Trump supporter, because I said when it comes to a certain point, when you do, You can believe what you want to believe politically. I don't care about all of that. But however, when your beliefs of someone who you want to vote for indoctrinates or goes against my safety as a human being on this in this world, then I cannot be friends with you, because it's like you don't care about me as a person. So I don't need you following me. I don't need you to be my friends. You could unfollow me all the fuck you want. Y'all literally think I live and die about what happens on YouTube? Like, I have a life outside of this. Like, it's, don't get me wrong, I appreciate if y'all follow and subscribe and all the other stuff. However, this shit don't make and break Chris Avalon. It damn sure don't. I have other things that I got going on and other ways of income coming in outside of YouTube. This do not make and break what I do. So you can believe what you want to believe. Y'all can follow whatever the hell you want to follow. And you think an unfollow and a follow hurts? It don't. I mean, it helps with the algorithm, but at the end of the day, y'all don't make them, all this other stuff. People talk about trying to threaten me. Oh, I'm going to unfollow. Okay. Well, don't let the door hit you on the way out. I don't let stuff outside of this do that to me. And I'm not going to let no internet do it to me either. Because people say that, oh, I don't want to be friends. Okay. Bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. You know how many friends I've gained and lost in situations? I think maybe the reason why a lot of people don't like Virgos is because we're a little too logical about stuff and we're not emotional with things. It's just like, okay, you don't want my friend no more, go fuck yourself. Like, go be friends with them over there. I outgrow things. I always say, like, people come in your life for a reason and a season. I don't sit and hold on to things forever and act like people are my damn property. So yeah, but then he was going around talking about that that aid was not given to us, that it was given to some other. And I'm like, where are you getting your information from? Because that was debunked. Even by Republicans were saying that the stuff that Trump was saying is a lie. Everything that comes out of that man's mouth is a lie. And then we just had Elon Musk jumping up and down and around in his recent rally looking like Stewart from Mad TV. He looked, and this is why I always said, and no shade to the people on the spectrum, but I swear before Christ, I think Elon is special ed. I literally think he was one of them kids that was in the back of the yellow cheese bus with the helmet on his head, banging it up against the glass, and just got lucky with being able to be a savant and some stuff. But other than that, I just think that there's something wrong with him upstairs. Like, he give me like special ed. Like, he's like special needs student. That is what he gives me. And I don't give a fuck if I hurt anybody's feelings, but that's what he gives me the way I look at him. Literally, he is literally like the South African Stewart from Mad TV. We should just had him run up around that damn stage in a damn diaper with shit, at the bottom of it, so it looked like it was heavy while he was jumping up and down looking stupid. But anyway, the Brat album, yeah, I saw I actually did see the list today, and I was like, I don't know if I wanted to talk about that. It wasn't enough. It didn't feel like a worthy enough story to bring up, so that's why I just didn't include it. But I did see that it was there was a lot of people, but yeah, there is no Madonna, there's no Taylor Swift, but I did see that Julian Casablancas from The Strokes is also on one of the remixes. And then they had Billie Eilish, Troy, Lord, Addison Rae. So yeah, it does sound like an interesting remix album. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing it. But I'm actually glad that she went with some of the people we know in the mainstream, and she also went indie with some of the choices. Artists who should be more mainstream, but cult status. You talking about Zara Larsson? she is somebody who should be more mainstream, because I don't get how she mainstream, but Sabrina Carpenter. Well, she's not, but Sabrina Carpenter is. And Sabrina Carpenter definitely gives me, even though this is her 6th record, she gives me, I don't want to say industry plant, but she definitely gives me manufactured. And her songs are just basic to me. But Zara Larsson got them bops. When I be listening to some of them songs, I'm like, damn, I wish I would have wrote this. It's like, it would take a special princess to basically stop you dead in your tracks, take your breath away, and make you want to settle for the rest of your life. Wait, what we talking about? It's that Elon Musk is willing to pay $47 to vote for Trump. I heard Douglas is basically going to stop aid until the election is over. Well, they so damn stupid. And y'all willing to destroy your own town, your own city, just so that way you can have someone who's going to probably do absolutely nothing, because he didn't do anything during his first term. Y'all act like this is the first time this man is going to be president. This is literally his 2nd time. And the only reason why he's running is to stay out of jail. He does not care about us. He does not care about this country. He doesn't even care about the people who follow him. He doesn't. He does not care about any of you. And until y'all wake up and understand that, the better. And y'all trying to pull whatever act of, it's all an act of desperation. Y'all all trying to pull whatever straw, whatever, to win this damn election. Like, y'all can't even win fairly. You haven't even acknowledged the fact that you lost to Biden. Yeah, and I feel like, when are people going to actually go in on Twitter and destroy Twitter? Like what he's been doing. They said, yeah, we talked about that. They said you're allowed to shade Elon because Anna is right about one thing. He was cheered on by the GOP to buy Twitter, but like people with, and don't worry, the word on the curb is because they said that it was a lot of people that helped him get Twitter, including Diddy. So Diddy also helped him buy Twitter. So, and then there was a post on Trump's Truth Social that I tried posting on Facebook earlier for some godforsaken, and where he was basically talking about how, you know, he was right in regards of like how I can make Elon do whatever he want because he want money and stuff from me or whatever the case is, and he's willing to do it, like acting like a little, bark like a dog, you know, all that other stuff, like that scene in Coming to America, bark like a dog. It's like he can make Elon stupid behind do whatever the hell he want, and he's okay with it. So I don't know why anybody. So I don't know. I just can't stand Elon. And then the cackle for me was when somebody said, "Oh, you willing to you'll show up to somebody else's rally, but you don't even show up for your own damn kids." And I was like, "Ooh, if they ain't the damn truth." Him and I would say him. I believe him and Nick Cannon have the same amount of children. The only thing is that at least you can say what you want about Nick Cannon. At least he shows up for his children. But anyway, let's go for, let me hit my banner before I forget. Let's go into this mess, chair. Now, we're going to go for one mess or another. We was up in here getting a little political. But let's get into this mess. I don't know why would anybody be surprised that Joker Folie à Deux flopped at the box office. So they basically said that it opened at number one, but only with $40 million. And that's pretty bad compared to the first movie, because this is a sequel. Like, you would expect, if this is going to be the number one movie at the box office to a sequel, that it would double how much it brought in. Now, I don't know how much that is, but Screen Rant, you know, they had the whole breakdown. So we'll go through it, and then I'll give my overall thoughts on what I believe went wrong. Because I was sitting there like, well, what happened? Because all you incels that was out here windmilling hard for this damn movie, where y'all were at? Where y'all at? Because y'all didn't go to the movies and support it. Y'all remind me so much of them damn Melissa Barrera people that was out here getting mad. We gonna boycott Scream. And then the minute she goes and does another movie, where y'all at? Y'all didn't show up at the theater. Same thing with this. Y'all didn't show up to support the movie. But then again, from what I was hearing, Todd Phillips basically didn't like the monster that he created with the first one, but the fact that so many incels resonated with the Joker character of someone who, oh, well, I'm mad at the world and I was dealt a bad hand, so now I'm going to go crazy and I'm going to start killing people and I'm going to cause anarchy. Blah, 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 blah. And then when you realize that, yeah, we know it was about mental health and the fact that the system fails, people with mental health and all those other things, and how y'all decided to just rip off Taxi Driver and Mean Streets, early Scorsese movies. If you haven't seen them, definitely check them out. That's the one thing I love about old movies. I love looking at old New York when they're shown in them, because it was like a time before I was born. So just seeing like the overall grit and the filth of New York, where it looked like a no man's land at one point before it was all, you know, fixed up and made to look like an amazing metropolis that so many movies like to emulate, like Batman and the Joker and all these other films. So after that, then after the success, when they pulled everything in and you saw like these people that y'all were trying to, I guess, poke fun at or I shed a light on start to resonate, then it's like you tried to strip away and destroy with a jackhammer the very thing that you created with the first one. So who is this? What is the sequel for? And then some of the decisions that y'all made didn't make no sense. So they says, shout out to Screen Rant, by the way. When looking at the list of upcoming DC movies, Joker 2 was the last before James Gunn's DC universe truly begins with Superman in 2025. And I'm glad they put that in there, because I had seen so many people go and say, oh, well, James Gunn's franchise is going to suck. Oh, this movie's going to be bad because they have did it, because, you know, they're trying to equate this movie with what James Gunn is doing. Technically, James Gunn's universe doesn't start up until the end of the year when we get Creature Commandos, but it really starts to kick into high gear next summer when we get Superman. That's when his whole the James Gunn, Peter Safran DCU really kicks off until 2025. But technically, if you want to be technical, Creature Commandos is when it kicks off, because Creature Commandos is something under the James Gunn umbrella. But you have to wait till next year for Superman to get that. So I really wish people would do their research and stop thinking just because you're getting something now and you heard a report about the people in Warner Brothers having to, step down, get fired, whatever the case is, just because you started to get something years later, when it was mentioned years later, does not mean it goes into what that person who was brought in now is doing. You have to it trickles down. It's the same thing I say with politics. Like, when things are put into place, you don't start to feel it until the next administration. So when Trump does some stuff, his policies trickle down in the next administration, meaning the Biden administration. Now, whoever makes it the second term, please God, don't let it be him. But if Kamala Harris becomes the president, the Biden policies, you'll start to feel it in the next administration. Things take time. So I really wish people would stop with the whole James Gunn bashing and wait until those movies come out before y'all start running off with the damn mouth. Because a lot of people that say stuff, they really don't understand how this industry works. But anyway, let's get into the story. So it says that such a great deal of attention was placed on Joker Folie à Deux, not only to gauge how DC's Elseworlds property will fare moving forward, but also due to the first movie's overwhelming success. By the time Joker Folie à Deux is ending, many were disappointed by the sequel. The attention it received pre-release proved not only to extend into positive reviews, as despite Joker 2's promising cast and craftsmanship, the story proved not to resonate with critics and audiences alike. This immediately led attention to turn to how the film would perform at the box office. Now, here's what I also think has made a mistake. Number one, this movie should not have been $200 million. This movie should have at least had, I would think, a $50 million to $80 million price tag. I think 70 to 80 million would have been a great price tag for that, because at the box office, you probably could have made all your money back. But 200 million, what the hell did you spend the money on? For the musical numbers? And then the parts in the musical numbers, while it started off okay, like it was working in certain situations, it felt like it was a crutch. And then it was just brought in the scenes. I'm like, wait, this doesn't fit in. Like, what are y'all doing? And then on top of that, I don't want to necessarily go too hard on Lady Gaga, because here's the thing, and I will always say this, the one thing she does have over Madonna, even though a lot of her career musically has kind of bitten off of what Madonna's already done. She takes a lot from the blueprint, and Lil Monsters, save the rhetoric for somebody who gives a damn. Go argue with your mammy, but I'm giving you the true tea. The fact of the matter is, a lot of her aesthetic, a lot of what she does, Madonna's already done it. Even down to her Harley Quinn album, that was something Madonna already did about 30-some odd years ago when she did I'm Breathless. That is her version of I'm Breathless. If you need to Google schmoogle, it is there. I know it's before y'all time, but the internet is your friend. Look it up. Blueprint is similar. But the one thing I will say about Lady Gaga, that she does have a step with Madonna, she is the better actress. And she shows up and gives what she needs to be. Now, when she was in The Star is Born, it was a little rocky. But as she progressed with House of Gucci, even with this film, whatever the material is that you give her, she works with it with the best of her ability. So I'm not going to go too hard on her on that. She is a step up with the acting versus, what Madonna brings as an actress. And it's not easy getting in front of a camera and delivering lines and the emotion and all that other stuff. It's like you could bring it with your music, because that technically is a part of you. But when you have to bring that to that character, then that's what it is. I also didn't understand why they named her Lee in the film. Like, her name is Harleen Quinzel. I almost said Quinlan. Harleen Quinzel is her name. I don't understand why they called her Lee. First of all, you could have called her Harleen or Harley Quinn. Like, if that's the character you're basing her off of, you could have called her that. Now, also, why the hell was Harvey Dent in this movie? You had a young Harvey Dent. There was really no understanding of a purpose for his character. Why you brought him up in there? Like, if there was a sense of, well, he is in this taking on this case, and it's basically him trying to bring the Joker down, that should have been reiterated. There was a lot of ideas that was thrown in here. One of the things I will say about Todd Phillips that he has a huge problem doing is executing those ideas for it to make sense. This is exactly why I despised the first film, because I felt like I understood what he was getting at, but it wasn't executed to the way where it made sense. So when you have people, well, he's doing a whole thing about mental, I get that. I'm not dumb. And that's the one thing I hate about people too, when y'all try to insult my intelligence. It's like, I get what he's saying. The reality is when you try to bring the idea and transfer it, this is someone who went to film school, so I think I know what I'm talking about. When it comes to, it says show, don't tell. When you are basic, that is one of the main rules when you do film. Anyway, it's show, don't tell. You don't need to explain what's going on. You need to show it in visual form, because that's what movies are. Cinema is a visual form of storytelling. So when you're bringing that into this film, you need to explain to the audience what it is, the story that you're trying to convey. I don't need you to explain it to me. I don't need you to do it that way. You can formulate it in film and pictures. Well, I don't need somebody to like do a whole monologue of like, okay, so this is what's happening beat by beat by beat. It's like, no, I don't need you doing all that. First of all, when it comes to cinema, you're supposed to explain it in picture form. That's basically what you need to do. And then you can have the dialogue when you mention things in passing, whatever the case is, but that's what it is when you make movies. So they really didn't explain the reason of like, okay, so what was Harvey Dent doing there? Like, what was his actual purpose? And then I understood, like, she basically committed herself, like she lied and about her whole backstory. She basically committed herself to Arkham Asylum, talking about Harley Quinn, to get close to the Joker, to bring that side of him out. Because, and then he's going and having these conflicting moments of, oh, I don't know if I want to be the Joker. I'm not this person, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, okay, now I'm about to get into spoilers, so y'all might want to mute your thing while I do that. But if y'all don't care, keep listening. I'm actually glad. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, I'm about to say some stuff. So in the end, he gets killed, which I'm glad is the case, because I don't even think that neither one, him and Joaquin, the director, and Joaquin even wanted to come back. This is all pressure from the studio. Oh, we made $1 billion. Let's see if we can make another $1 billion, because, you know, this movie made so much money and it resonates with so many people. But you have to realize, between the time you made the first Joker and then the second Joker, which I believe was 5 years ago, if I'm doing the math correctly, the times have changed. Who are you trying to tell this story to in this day and age? Like, if you're going to go into, okay, he's in Arkham Asylum, he's waiting trial, and he's going through these things in his head, and he meets this girl, and she's basically, Harley Quinn. And then from what the events in the first movie that he caused, the chaos that he caused in the first film, trickled down to someone in Harley's family being killed. And so she goes under this whole disguise of, I want to get close to you so I can destroy you and all this other stuff and mess with your head, because she is a therapist. You also forget, you know, the backstory of Harley Quinn, you know. So her coming in and doing all of that and psychologically trying to get into his head and breaking down, and then using the musical numbers as sort of like this thing that's going on in his head. Like, I feel like if they would have projected that, that might have been a better film. But it was just a whole bunch of stuff that's thrown at the TV. Well, not TV, technically it's in the theater, but you know what I'm saying. It's like technically too much stuff was being thrown in the gumbo, and you were just hoping that it was gonna work. And it's just like it was just a convoluted mess. So that was my overall thoughts on that. So I'm like, but then what it should have happened was you had some random dude kill him. And I'm like, no, that don't make no sense. What you should have did was have Harley Quinn do it, because they had the biggest connection throughout the film. So if you had her be the one to take him out, it would have made sense. However, it seems like Hollywood is getting into this thing, and I did see a story on this. Shout out to Christian Harlow, because he brought this up on his show the other day. But I don't know the exact. I'm hoping I'm not I'm gonna have to paraphrase, because I don't have the story directly in front of me. Now I'm hearing they're trying to create focus groups in, you know, for the studios. I think Disney, they were saying it was going to be doing this. They want to create focus groups so that way they can go and determine what is and what they want, what fans want to see in movies. I don't like that, because here we go with this whole thing of when you want to see diversity in movies, what's going to happen is you're going to get a bunch of damn incels who are going to be put in this room and be like, well, we don't want this or we don't want that. Number one, a lot of them do not have experience making a movie. A lot of them do not have experience writing a script. So why are they going to come in and talk about the art of filmmaking when they don't have a background on that? I believe people should be allowed to tell the story that they want to tell. The studios need to stop going based off of numbers and algorithms and what a bunch of trolls are saying on social media because they're running scared, and allow art to be created the way it needs to be done. It's just like back in the day when we got movies and stuff, people went out, they took a risk, they created what they wanted to create. You either watched it or you didn't. But you're starting to see a lot of these movies that came out this year that's flopping, and it's because you're listening too much of what other people are saying over here rather than letting artists be artists. And this is why I think maybe people gravitate towards music more than they do movies. Because it's like when you look at Joker, who is this movie for? I don't think it's for the people that you made it for in the first film that loved it. I just feel like you're making fun of the exact people that were fans of the original film. And I know it's not for me, because I didn't like the first movie. Like I said, I understood what they were trying to get to, but the execution just did not work for me in that film. So now basically so after I had to give my full assessment, what are the numbers? So they said the film was released worldwide on October 4th, 2024, yet failed to bring in the same success of its predecessor. In North America and Canada, the film was initially projected to earn at least $100 million in its opening weekend. However, as Joker 2 release date grew closer, projections dropped to 50 to 70 million as questions over the film, who the film for, was raised. That's exactly what I said. And I didn't even read this article, but all the things that I'm saying is basically what the article's saying. Now it says Joker somehow grossed lower than these poor projections. They missed the word, so I had to add that in there. As of its first weekend, Joker 2 has earned a domestic total of $40 million, vastly underperforming its original expectations. Overseas, Joker performed better, but not by a drastically increased margin. Joker 2's international opening weekend box office total came in at $81.1 million, taking the film's worldwide box office to $121 million, significantly below the film's. And that's what I said. It still didn't even break even. Like the budget is $200 million. It brought in 121, and I don't think it's going to fare better this coming week, because guess what's coming out? Terrifier 3, and guaranteed I'm going to be in the theater seeing that, because I love Art the Clown. So I'm going to be in the theater watching Terrifier 3. So I don't know if the Joker 2 is going to be able to still maintain the number one spot. So it also says Joker failed to earn even half of Joker's opening weekend numbers upon its own debut. Of course, this will be a disappointment to Warner Brothers, with the studio committing to a much bigger budget for the sequel. And heads are definitely going to roll with this. I don't know if the people were still working there that made these decisions, but y'all about to be unemployed, if not already. And then it says that Folie à Deux does not have much room for a sequel, despite Joker 2's unanswered questions. The film ends, as I told y'all already, spoiler alert, Arthur Fleck was killed. And then it says that the creators of Joker 2 wanted to create another story. The lackluster performance of the box office may put a swift end to these desires. And I think that maybe that was intentional. I don't think Todd Phillips wanted to come back for a third film. And I don't think he wanted to spin it off. Because who are you going to spin it off with? I don't think Lady Gaga is that interesting to even be, like, I like her. She does what she does. But as far as a solo Harley Quinn film with her, I don't see people going to the theater to see it. And Harvey Dent being put in it, you didn't utilize him. You didn't even utilize her enough in the damn movie. So, and I'm hearing people talking about Oscar talk. No, for none of them. First of all, yeah, Joaquin was fine. Oscar buzz, no. He got his Oscar for the first one. He ain't getting it for this one. Lady Gaga wasn't in the film and utilized enough for even to warrant an Oscar nomination. Y'all could try to nominate her, but I have a feeling the movie that's going to get nominated, the actors who are going to get nominations, female, for the roles, is, damn it, I forgot the name of the movie, but it's going to be coming out on Netflix. The movie with Selena Gomez and Zoe Saldana, where they're playing a movie where Selena Gomez plays, I believe, the not significant other. Well, yeah, I think she's in a relationship with a gangster who transitions into a woman. So I can't remember the name of that movie off the top of my head, but I definitely want to see it when it comes out on Netflix. I've been hearing so much buzz about that film. But as far as like Oscar buzz for them, no. And they basically yeah. So I don't think I have any more else to offer on this story except I'm not surprised that Joker 2 was a flop at the box office. And I think also what hurt it, Venice Film Festival, that hurt the screening that they did with that hurt the film. And I also think the recent fan screening that they just did last week hurt the movie too. Because a lot of content creators like myself and so many others had access to go to the fan screenings and get their reviews out. And this is what it seems like it is. Studios are now reaching out to content creators more so than they're reaching out to the critics, because I guess maybe they feel like critics aren't really going to bring that momentum and get people interested in wanting to see the films. So they're really reaching out to the next generation, which is the content creators, those who have TikToks and YouTube and all these other places where they have a wider reach. And for us to get the word out, this is what they're feeling like that's who they need to cater to. But I think the fan reviews and the Venice Film Festival hurt it, because I was like, to be honest, I really did not know if the movie was going to do all that well, because I didn't get any kind of momentum response, any of that from the regular audience. When the trailers were playing in the theaters during the coming attractions, when I would go see other films, I didn't get any sense of people were like, oh my God, I can't wait to see Joker 2, Folie à Deux. Like, I didn't hear any of that. So I'll say all this to say, because I got a lot of comments that I got to get to right after this. What did y'all think of this film? Did you see Joker 2? What did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? No judgment. I'm telling you, I don't particularly care for this franchise. I'm glad it's about to sashay away forever and to be put in the back burner where it belongs. But if y'all like the film, I want to hear from you. If you didn't like the film, I want to hear from you as well. So let me know what your comments are regarding Joker 2. And if y'all surprised that it flopped the box office, leave your comments down below. Okay, so let me see the comments. Oh, I just heard Liam Payne and Jax are the worst fathers of the year. Oh, you talking about Jax Taylor? Who said, oh, I didn't know what I was doing when I gave full custody. So you ain't know what papers you were signing? You didn't have an attorney present? Like, are you slow? But don't answer that, because he do give me slow. Don't get me wrong. Jax get fuck boy tease. I mean, I would hit it, but he's just a dummy. Like, you don't want to lay down with that man and have a child with him, nor less marry him. Like, he's just somebody who's an F-boy. He said, because like Jax, he's not with their mama, could hurt Gaga's film career. That's what I'm wondering, too, because it's like every movie that Gaga's been in so far has flopped, except A Star Is Born. That did well, with her and Bradley Cooper. But after that, I don't feel like that Lady Gaga has really been able to draw people to the box office. But then again, the times have changed. Like, when we grew up because there were certain people that was like, okay, Tom Cruise got a new movie out. Yeah, let's go see it. Will Smith got a new movie coming out. Let's go see it. Matthew McConaughey, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, who else? Julia Roberts, Jennifer Lopez. I'll even throw her in there because she was at Once Upon a Time a box office draw. So once upon a time, we had people that it was like whenever they were stars, they would draw us to come to the movies. These days, it's just like, I don't think we have stars anymore. I think we're at a point of like, okay, Gaga's in it. Okay, this person's in it. What's the movie about? And that's what people want to know. There's even people that I know, and I could not stand this about my ex-roommate, Devin. He wanted to know the whole plot. He wanted to know spoilers and everything before he watched it. I'm like, then what's the point of watching the movie? Like, I don't want to know anything. Usually when I go into movies, I'm so old school with it. Like, I want to go in cold. I don't want to know nothing. That's why I've been avoiding a lot of these Terrifier 3 not even spoilers, but just like, there's been so many people. Shout out to Critical Overlord. Shout out to Killjoy Jake. And a lot of y'all, I'm a fan of y'all stuff. But I'll be avoiding a lot of y'all shows because y'all talk too damn much about, that type of stuff. Y'all talk too much about, Terrifier. I don't want to know nothing. I want to go in. I want to be surprised by the kills that Art the Clown is doing. I want to know this new sequence that upstages, or not really, but they said is like pretty up there sick-wise with that bedroom scene that went on a bit too long and Terrifier 2. Like, they have those big moments. So I don't want to know anything when I go into a lot of movies, which is why I avoid spoilers. Same thing with Scream. Like opening weekend, I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want y'all telling me. Don't even text me, tweet me, nothing. I want to go in cold. I don't want to know who the killers are. I want to actually feel like I'm being a detective and I'm trying to figure out the story. So that way, when that third act presents itself, I get revealed that without the spoilers on social media. I try to avoid it, but there's people who want all the spoilers, and I don't get that. Harley Quinn was a patient Arkham Asylum, not the Harley we loved. I heard that cameo of Joker where Arthur is unalive. Nobody wanted to see it, so it ties to the... Oh, yeah, there was definitely... They were saying that, was that a Dark Knight reference? But I said it would have made way more sense if they would have had her do it, but it could have been the whole, oh, you're gonna have a woman kill him, you know, the ones that want to throw woke in every damn thing. So it's like you can't even tell nobody a story because y'all get mad whenever you see a woman in a position of power or a strong female character or whatever. Even though I know women hate that phrase, but sometimes you got to use certain phrases for it to make broad sense of what we're talking about. It's just like, I don't mind it as long as the story as long as you tell me a story and it works with what it is you're trying to do. I don't care who does what. I'm not sitting here writing my script. Oh, well, I can't put that in there because that's going to offend somebody, or some dude in his mother's basement is going to be mad because I made this character a significant part of or because you see a gay person or a trans person or a woman. It's like, get a life. Like, go touch some grass. That's what I be feeling like sometimes with people. I just don't get it. This is one of the things I say is a blessing and a curse about the internet. You can usually tune out the noise pre-internet, but now it's like everybody with a damn opinion says something stupid and ignorant, and then their opinion is way more valid than those of us who want to see legitimate stories. Did I say series of legitimate stories? And it said to call I'm Breathless a flop is laughable. 2 times platinum, a global pride anthem, a gold US top 10 in Hanky Panky and the Blonde Ambition tour. I can continue but won't because Harley Quinn is definitely... Well, I don't know anybody who really listens to me is really out here going hard and windmilling for that album. Because I remember hearing, we heard about it, came and went, and there were some people online that I know that are friends of mine that were talking about they liked the record, but I didn't hear them talking about it like incessantly. So, but yeah, it was a bomb. Nobody cared because nobody wanted like that jazz stuff. Pop Gaga, it's time to get back to work. Get them crazy costumes out of storage and get, start doing your stretches because they want the dancing, they want the over the top crazy costumes. That's what we want. We want Pop Gaga. We don't care about the other stuff. Yeah, we let you play around and do all the other things. It was cute or whatever. It was cute for a moment. But after that, it's like, sis, we need you to get back to Pop Gaga because otherwise, you're going to end up like Katy Perry and doing residencies for the rest of your life. So even though you have a broader body compared to Katy Perry, you do have a broader body of work where it definitely shows your versatility. So I will give her that. That they said soundtracks flop now, but there was a time when it was. And we talked about it the other day in the show, that how soundtracks in the 90s were huge. Because I remember and I think as in Onyx was saying, the Barbie soundtrack did pretty big numbers. But I think Barbie was this huge phenomenon, and it had some really good songs in there. Like, first of all, that Charlie XCX song, Barbie, you're so fine, you blow my mind, even though it is taken from, that Mickey track. And she sampled it, 2 samples. It was Tony Basil and Robin, Cobra style. So when she used those mashup and then had her own lyrics that was thrown up in there, that worked. And there was a lot of really good songs on that album. I like the Barbie soundtrack. Maybe that's because I'm a homosexual. But I did like the album. But yeah, back in the 90s, I was always buying a lot of ones. I tell you, the Spawn soundtrack, I wore that out. What else? There was the Mortal Kombat soundtrack. I remember when I first got that out, the minute I heard that Mortal Kombat, like the minute that came out, I was like, oh, I gotta buy that damn record. I don't know I think I bought it. It was a cassette tape or a CD. I'm not sure. But I remember I bought that record. Then it was the what was it? The Lara Croft Tomb Raider, the first one. I didn't buy the Cradle of Life, the first one. Then it was the Spawn soundtrack. So yeah, there was a lot of soundtracks that dominated during the 90s. It was a lot of, because I think it was like that whole UK electronic music thing that was happening. So a lot of that music was being put in movies, especially with like Paul Oakenfold and a lot of that stuff. So a lot of those soundtracks, we were pretty much buying those up. So movies and music went hand in hand in those days. But now it's just like that vibe doesn't exist no more. He wishes. He ain't gonna put nothing up in me, chair. Because I heard that story about there was some 2 A-listers that apparently gave women herpes. There was a story that came out about that. I said, until y'all name names, I ain't talking about that story, but it wouldn't be surprised the woman was Usher. Remember him with that story with the herp? So it said Barbie is rare and also A Star is Born. However, people are done with Jazz Gaga. Even Love for Sale bomb. Cheek to Cheek was the only time it was a success. But the question remains, who is buying the Jazz Gaga stuff? Is it the little monsters? Are y'all the ones out there buying it? Or is it that she's catering this to the jazz crowd? Because my father is a huge jazz fan. Like, I grew up listening to jazz because my father played Coltrane and Thelonious Monk, and he played he plays a lot of the jazz. He listens to the smooth jazz, he listens to old school jazz, and that's because my grandfather is a jazz fanatic, so that music was passed down to him, and then that's all I heard growing up. So between that and then of course Stevie Wonder and all the other greats, the Whitneys and all that stuff, like I grew up with a plethora, a different variety of music around the house. But of course I grew up on jazz as well. So I'm wondering who is the audience, because I don't think my father, who's a jazz fan, he's not listening to Tony Bennett or her. So who is your audience? And he's 70. So who are you catering this to? That's what I want to know, because I don't think the little monsters are listening to that. They want the chromatica. They want the fame. They want the fame monster. That's what they want. And you could go off and do other things. And they even like art pop. Quiet as it's kept, I kind of like art pop too, even though it was a flop back in the day. I kind of have a soft spot for art pop, even though that rollout was a mess. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the show. But thank y'all for letting me know that Sissy passed, and I posted something on my page where a picture of her, Whitney, and Bobby. I almost said Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee was in Tu Wong Fu. But, Bobby Christina. Truthfully and honestly, the main audience for a Don Phillips Joker movie is straight guys. I think you meant Tom Phillips. You said it's straight guys. Gaga couldn't convince enough little monsters to watch. And here's the thing. I heard that there were stories. I don't know if this is true, but they said Little Monsters was mad over scenes that was cut out. I'm like, what would y'all even know what scenes was cut out? First of all, you're not a director. You don't get to make the choice of who gets to put what in their movies. So what are you mad about? What you mad for? What you mad for? What you mad for? What you mad for? Every time I say that, I'll be thinking about Morgan McMichaels and that horrible ass song she did on Drag Race that actually got her ass sent home. But who was it? Yeah, I was like, were the little monsters gonna actually run to the movies and see this? Because I know you're a monster, Onyx. Did you want to go to the movies and see this film? I mean, it wasn't enough for me to want to go see it. That's why I had to watch it illegally. It's funny how I'm having to mumble all this so I don't get in trouble. Like, who gonna get me? As a, do you think Wicked? No. Even though I did hear that I wouldn't be surprised if that movie flops as well. I know some people say that they don't like musicals or musicals don't resonate well with this audience, but I honestly don't think Wicked is going to do well at the box office. I don't even care if y'all release it around the holidays. I don't know. I mean, I'll eat crow. I don't know where I'm gonna find something, cook it and eat it in front of y'all, but I will literally, metaphorically, I'll say it. I'll eat crow if I'm wrong, but I do not feel that there is a buzz for Wicked. I don't hear it. Although I have heard that they're trying to create Oscar buzz for Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. Like, they're literally trying to put them up for Oscar nominations. Like I said earlier in the show, I honestly think I don't see them. I think they'll put them up and maybe their names will get floated around, but I don't see it. I don't know. If it happens, okay. But are they going to win? No. But I do feel like Selena Gomez is going to get nominated for an Oscar. And I also feel Zoe Saldana is going to get nominated for an Oscar for the movie they have coming out. Fans were already turned off by Joker 2 when they said it's going to be a musical. Yeah, they tried to hide it. And that was the thing I've noticed, because musicals have not really done well at the box office, but they've been trying to hide the fact. They didn't tell people that Willy Wonka, that movie that Timothée Chalamet did, was a musical. So they tried to hide that. And then, you know, there were other musicals. Whatever happened to that Rachel Zegler Snow White movie? Isn't that a musical too? First of all, them dwarfs look terrible. They need to Sonic the Hedgehog them damn dwarves. Because remember when Sonic first came out and we made fun of the fact of how y'all had Sonic out here looking, and they went in and they fixed it. And now the movies have actually been better. I would say Zendaya is a star. She is. I like Zendaya. And the funny thing was, because that's my Virgo sister, but I love me some Zendaya. And another thing is also, I need to watch the challenges. I keep forgetting it's on Prime Video. It's already up there. I need to sit and watch it. But my thing is, but it said, you said and the box office numbers for the movie proved that she had pulled. Yeah, challenges, I could have sworn somebody said challenges didn't do well. I'm like, well, you need to check your receipts again, because challenges did fairly well. I remember one of my closest friends told me he saw the movie and liked it. But I do definitely need to check it out. And I like Luca Guadagnino. I don't know how that man's able to put out so many damn movies. Like, I'm like, where do you be having? I guess maybe he shoots his films relatively quickly, but challenges, and then he has other movies. Like, I mean, it feels like every couple of months he got a new movie coming out, and I already know Queer is making its rounds to all the what do you call it, the festivals, and that's a movie I definitely want to see, because I love me some Daniel Craig, and I definitely want to see this film. But yeah, I do agree that Zendaya is definitely a star, and I like the fact that Law Roach still dresses her even though he's retired. Yeah, it don't look like Brownsville, because I moved on up to the east side. You ain't here. First of all, I haven't lived in Brownsville since I was like 12. Like, I grew up out there in Brooklyn, and then I moved to Queens, and then I lived everywhere but the Bronx and Staten Island. So I remember at one point I went back to Brooklyn, but the closest Chris got to Brooklyn was Bushwick. So yeah, I wasn't living in no hood again. I was living a little adjacent, because Bushwick is all it's judged up now. It don't look like the way it used to look. It's a little more gentrified, but it's got a little edge to it still. That's one of the things I actually liked about living in Silver Lake when I lived in California. It was like it's been cleaned up, and it's a little more gentrified, but then you walk around the corner and it's still got a little bit of that edge, so you'll still see a little person that's drunk and homeless, or passed out on the ground next to the supermarket, little rats running around, but it's bougie over here, but it's a little ratchet over here. So I kind of like that contrast. Bougetto. My favorite word. You said, ew. Well, no, I thought you said it. Did Saucy Santana attend the Freakles? I won't think about that. Does Saucy Santana have any hits? I mean, isn't that Walking Like a Dog song a hit? I feel like he may be a 1 or 2 hit wonder. I have to look it up. His hits is probably like Azealia Banks, where it's like, oh, we know of their songs, but I don't think it was like they're huge. Oh my God, I forgot about those. I did buy the Space Jam album. I don't think I bought the Titanic album. It's because of that My Heart Will Go On damn song was everywhere. And I think it ended up on a Celine Dion album, which I actually ended up buying that. And I'm in the Spice World because I like the Spice Girls. So yeah, there was a lot of those too. That was an album soundtracks were it back in those days. I think it was the Tony Bennett fans that bought it. It was more successful than Art Pop, so I feel Gaga has to do it because it happened after the Art Pop disaster. Yeah, and she probably felt like, oh, that was a good recovery for her. People was excited for Wiki, but Ariana Grande's scandal turned people off. That affair overshadowed the film. Well, you must have been paying way more attention to that than me. But I'll take your word for it, because I really haven't been paying attention to Ariana Grande like that, but I do feel that based on some of the stories I've been reading, that I think the drama with her and Ethan Slater and the fact that they're both attached to this movie and they met on the set of this film and their affair began when they were working on the movie, that this will probably hurt the film. You said the problem is the musicals don't get promoted as musicals. Wonka, Mean Girls, Joker 2, and Wicked did not get any promotion as a musical. That's why there were crowds of people leaving. Yeah, it was that. They're trying to hide it because they're scared that it's gonna flop. And it's because we gotta go a little couple years back. In the Heights flopped at the box office, and so did West Side Story. Those movies didn't do well. So Hollywood is scared. When those two movies flop at the box office, they don't know if there's an audience that wants to see that. But you have to be slow to think that Wicked isn't based on a Broadway musical that's been on Broadway for, I don't know how long. How long has Wicked been on Broadway? I have to say, over, to be on the same side, I'm going to say over a decade, because Wicked, I think, is still on Broadway. And funny enough, I've never seen it. Probably because I didn't care. Now, I do like musicals, because I definitely want to see Adam Lambert in Cabaret, and I definitely want to see Sunset Boulevard with Nicole Scherzinger. So I need to get to a theater and see those. But it's, and even though I wasn't impressed by a lot of the songs, I kind of do want to see Moulin Rouge with JoJo. So those are the three I want to see. He said, as a little monster, I did not watch Joker 2, and I have no plans to. I like the Harley Quinn album, though. That's what I said. I remember you saying that you like the Harley Quinn album more so than you like Chromatica. Yes, Felix. It's like, I can't tell y'all how many people have come in this live to tell me that Whitney's mother died. I live for it, though. Why am I laughing? It was like, yes, but I live for it. Yes, we know. I've had literally 5 people come in here and tell me that she died. But thank you for letting me know. Yes, sissy gone, Chad. But he said Ariana's career suffered because of her breaking up his marriage. Come on, home wrecker. Let's get sickening. I wonder if Ariana would be as big as Taylor is right now if the July 20th, 2023 incident never happened. Wait, what happened on July 20th? Was that when the affair started? Because I don't think that's when that situation with the bombing happened. I don't think people remember how huge she was during that Thank You Next era. Oh yeah, she definitely did. She was huge during that era. I think some people feel like Thank You Next is her best body of work. It reminds me of Child, and we already know how that ended, or it's still ongoing. Quite as good. Met on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, was having a whole damn affair. Wound up getting married. They had 6 kids between them. 3 she adopted, 3 she pushed out her cooch. And now look at her. They over here fighting over that vineyard that they have, that winery, whatever the hell you want to call it. And then the back and forth. The kids hate Brad. I've been seeing Pax out a lot lately with Angelina walking in the street, going out to eat, doing all kinds of stuff. And I was like, Pax a little cutie. He's of age, so I can say that. But still, nevertheless, I'm like, he's a little cutie. And I feel like sometimes when I'm like, did she poison them kids against him? I mean, against Brad? Because I don't understand, how is it that all your kids hate you? There has to be something that was going on. Oh yeah, because earlier when I found out about Whitney Houston, I did text one of my friends, and I posted something on my Facebook. I was like, while we were doing the show, actually, I was trying to make it seem like y'all wouldn't notice, or maybe y'all did or didn't, I don't know. But I was like, I was actually Google smooth. I said, let me find a picture of Sissy Houston and post it. Oh, you said since 2004. So that's when the news came out about the divorce and the affair. Yeah, I think Wicked has been on Broadway for like 15. Yeah, it has to be for a long time. Because sometimes, when stuff be on Broadway in New York, we see it in passing, and it's just like, I don't just be sitting up there paying close attention to how long something been going on. But I'm like, yeah, Wicked been on Broadway for a minute. It's kind of like Cats. But we've been on Broadway for a long time. And it's like, oh yeah, it's there. We don't pay attention to it. We just go about our day. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about my girl, Sarah Michelle Gellar, who apparently had to remind people who are a little slow that when she dies in things, she is dead. This is not that season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where she jumped into the thing to save Dawn from glory and then closed up the thing and then had to be revived back by Willow. Like, this is not a season of Buffy when they moved from the CW, or, well, was it the WB at the time? From the WB to the You People's Network. That's what I used to always call UPN. Because that network was ghetto as all get out. But they got their budget, and the seasons I actually like post, even though I always like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I love all seasons, so I'm not going to go too hard on that. But yes, dead means dead, according to Sarah Michelle Gellar. So they said when Helen Shivers was murdered on July 4th, 1997, there was no doubt she was a goner. And yet, Sarah Michelle Gellar keeps getting asked if she will turn up in the upcoming I Know What You Did Last Summer requel. But the reason she won't is precisely the same reason she wasn't in the 1998 sequel. Yeah, she's dead. So Sarah Michelle Gellar recently told People that there isn't a chance she will turn up in a planned fourth installment in the I Know What You Did Last Summer series, bluntly confirming, I am dead. However, she still will have a role behind the scenes saying, and I didn't know this, she said that Jennifer Caden Robinson, who's directing the film, is actually her best friend. So she said, so we joke that I have an unofficial job, which I am I am continuity. So I'm always the one telling her, well, that would happen or that wouldn't happen with those characters. So I do have kind of an unofficial job title. So here's the thing, but they also said this, and then we'll get to my thoughts. So they said, so while we won't see Sarah Michelle Gellar on the screen, she does sort of hit on another point of sequels that comes years and sometimes decades after the last movie. It's not necessarily that we need another, it's that the nostalgia brings us back to a time that movie helps encapsulate. Let's look at another horror franchise launched around the same time, also through the lens of some supporting characters. Do we need to see Randy in Scream 3? Possibly not, but his videotape enhanced the movie and laid out what was truly at stake that time around. What about Billy Loomis turning up in 2022 Scream? To me, it was pretty forced and tried to be a piece of fan service that the story could have survived. Ooh, did she read Scream? Did she read Scream 5? Let me find. Okay, Sarah. This is what I like about her, because she don't bite her tongue. And she's always saying what needs to be said. And I do agree with that. Let's unpack that. So here's the thing. Now, when it comes to nostalgia and that sort of thing, I get it, because she is absolutely right. When a lot of times we watch certain things, it does take us to a time where we're at a form of nostalgia. I think that's why we always have so many sequels over the years. And I feel like once you get to a certain age, you start to kind of feel that sense of nostalgia. This is why a lot of times when you look at people when it comes to music or veteran acts or whatever, when they're on tour performing, or you see a requel where you bring back a beloved character to kind of push on this next generation thing, like they're kind of trying to do with this I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot, and now they're bringing Sydney back for Scream 7, and then you get all these other films. It's that sense of nostalgia, and that's what we live for. And I feel like, when we get to be a certain age, especially when like you're a person in your 40s, you kind of feel it because we're not young anymore, but we're not old either. It's kind of like we're in between. We're in that in-between phase of like, oh yeah, we're not kids anymore, but we're also not getting any younger. We're starting to, that time of, oh yeah, we're getting a little older. It's dawning upon us. So, but then you look back on those things that made you feel so young and fruitful and fancy free, and it's like you live for those moments, and that's why I think that sense of nostalgia comes from. So yes, Randy was prominent in Scream 3 with the fact of the matter, his sister, played by Heather Matarazzo, came out, had the tape. They watched the tape. He's giving you this thing about the threequel and how that whole situation worked. That was a cute moment. But I do agree that the Billy Loomis thing in Scream, where he's supposed to be like this force ghost and he's in the mind of his daughter, that whole idea of the sins of the father, is it hereditary? Can it be passed down to one of his children, whatever the case is? That was a cool idea that I feel like Radio Silence did not do well with executing. So to me, it didn't work in that whole situation. But it was cool to see Skeet Ulrich fine behind, because I always had a crush on him. That's like my generation Johnny Depp, because it was just like they kind of favored each other. So when you seen Skeet Ulrich, who still looks good, by the way, because I've seen pictures of him recently and he had no shirt on, I was like, ooh, is he seeing anybody? But anyway, let me get serious. So yeah, with him being a part of that, it just did not make sense in that sense, but it was cool to see him in the thing. Now, with her saying this whole thing about the whole fan service and making it feel like it's a part of that, it didn't feel like it felt, what did she say? Could have said where it feels pretty forced and try to be a piece of fan service that the story could have survived without. That's a fear. And you know, I live for Brandy. But that is a fear that I have when it comes to y'all bringing Carla back. Because when we were talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer requel, Brandy was like, oh, I didn't know they were making this movie. But then all of a sudden we hear rumors that there's a possibility she might be in it. So it made me feel like, oh, well, because the buzz and the fans were going ape crap over the fact that Brandy could possibly be coming back to reprise her role as Carla. Now it feels like, oh, y'all just trying to put her in there. It needs to make sense for her to be a part of this and what her role would be, and if her and Julie would still be friends. When did the last movie come out? 98? 20-something odd years later, after the events that happened when they were on that island. Because apparently the capital of Brazil is Rio. You know, I had to throw that dagger up in there over that sequel and how it was stupid and make no damn sense. But I do agree. Look, Sarah Michelle Gellar, as much as I love her, she does not need to be in this film. If she wants to be a consultant and help her friend out, and because she was there and a part of the whole thing, and she understands what Kevin Williamson was trying to convey with that script, and her being a part of the original movie, and she wants to incorporate some of that and help her friend out to fully flesh out that script, then I'm here for it. The fact that she could be an unofficial consultant helping her friend out to make this movie the film that us horror movie fans definitely want to see when this comes out. But yes, she did. We just want Julie back. We already got Freddie Prinze Jr. coming back as Ray Bronson, so we ain't got to worry about him. It was announced maybe a week or two ago that he is officially signed on. We haven't heard about Jennifer Love Hewitt. I know 911's new season started, so she's busy with that. But yeah, she needs to be coming back to the show. Y'all need to work out her contract. We definitely want Brandy back as Carla Wilson, but it needs to make sense to the story. Don't just shove her up in there like Sarah was saying about Billy Loomis's character. We don't need that. Ryan Phillippe dead too, and even Johnny Galecki. So we ain't bringing all them back. It's just let's focus on Julie. Let's focus on Ray. Let's focus. If you can bring Carla back and it makes sense, bring Carla back. But also, you have to make these new kids that are part of this franchise and this story that you're trying to tell 20 plus years later work for whatever the story that you're working for. So, they asked the question, do you think Sarah Michelle Gellar could somehow be utilizing the I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel? No. Because I'm like, y'all seriously cannot be thinking, let's bring her back. It doesn't work. She's dead. She had the best, in my opinion, the best kill in I Know What You Did Last Summer. Her chase sequence, iconic. I still live for that scene and look forward to that scene whenever I watch the movie. So yeah, we need to leave that as an iconic moment. It don't need to be ruined by y'all trying to bring her back from the dead or whatever the case is, or have her play some unofficial character that happens to look like her character. Be like, oh, she had a twin sister. I'm like, but why wasn't that brought up in the original movie? Well, her bitch of a sister that she had in there, played by Sonya Blade from Mortal Kombat. I forgot her real name, but you know what I'm saying. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. And you said one more thing to add. People are forgetting that the Wicked movie is in 2 parts. That's another thing too, because I was like, I don't think that that's a good idea for them to do the Wiki movie in 2 parts, because I'm like, what if the first one flop? Then what are y'all gonna do? Y'all really gonna go hard and make, and not only that, that's not even the worst part. The worst part is you gotta wait a whole year for the sequel. Like, you literally, November of 2023 part 1 come out. 2024. November 2025 is when the next one. Who's waiting a whole year to see half of a damn movie? Like, make that make sense. I don't think we had to wait that long when they did It Chapter 1 and 2. And y'all got to think about the fact that how our attention spans are. Perry Edwards talked about that when she was talking about the music. You really think people got the patience to wait a year for a musical? So I don't know what they're thinking. Who's producing this? Is that Warner Brothers again? Was it Universal? No, it doesn't. The Kid in Us never goes away. That's why I'm really looking forward to. Like, I've been hearing the story about them making a Goonies sequel, and if they are, then they're bringing back the original cast, and Steven Spielberg is going to be behind it. I'm like, okay, now I'm here for that. If y'all could make that movie good, and if y'all could bring mostly all the actors back, I don't know if they would bring back the actor that played Chunk, because I know he's an entertainment lawyer now, so I don't know if he would want to come back and play that, or you want to recast that role. I would have been like, could y'all match if they made Jack Black play Chunk? That would be funny. But I wouldn't like that, though. I was like, Chunk wasn't that messy. Do the truffle shuffle. That was my favorite. When he would come out there, he would just like pull his shirt up and do the little thing with his gut. That's like one of my all-time favorite movies. So like when I watched the Netflix 30th anniversary of, they had a special one there. Oh my God, I gotta watch. I didn't watch. Speaking of anniversaries, I didn't watch the American Music Awards 50th anniversary. That came on last night. I was so busy yesterday. Like as soon as I got in from doing that matinee, which I don't understand how y'all doing early shows of concerts, but I'm like, okay, whatever. But Vampire Weekend, I literally had a Vampire Weekend. Like I was living the actual name of the band. So it was like, I worked their show Saturday night. Then I had to get up early Sunday and do a 12 o'clock. They did their show at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, which was good that I actually got out early. But at the same time, I was exhausted. And then I had to come home and I had to do all this training and stuff, sexual harassment, the alcohol awareness. I'm like, oh my God. And it was a lot. So by the time I was done with that, I was exhausted. So I didn't get to really watch anything. I think maybe I watched that Terminator animated series on Netflix and I went right to sleep. I was exhausted. That took like literally 3 hours for me to do all of that. So I definitely got to watch that. But I heard that there was some, I seen that clip that Robert sent me of some Korean boys doing bye bye bye. I saw that, and then I seen something about Jennifer Lopez, but I did not watch. I didn't see the tribute to Whitney Houston, and it's funny how they did the tribute to Whitney Houston yesterday, and then her mother dies today. You think she watched that? You think Jennifer Screaming for Hudson killed her? Or maybe that's a little too morbid to say, but I'm like, she heard that Screaming for Hudson tribute. It was like, oh, she just went. But anyway. Speaking of death, let's move on. Let's talk about Madonna, who apparently lost her brother over the weekend. Now, I want to give a shout out to those of y'all who actually was fanning out and trying to find this information, because the minute I heard the information about Christopher Ciccone passing away, I was like, I need to confirm this. I did not want to go on social media and start going R.I.P. Christopher Ciccone, and then I was wrong. And then everybody cussing me out. Like, I like to make sure that all my tea is correct before I put it out there. So I literally was, I hit up some people. One of my industry contacts was like, I'm going to look into it for you, try to find out some information. Couldn't find anything. But then I had other people sleuthing. Shout out to Robert and some of the others who literally was in my DMs and messaging me and stuff, and confirmed that he did indeed pass away. I believe it was prostate cancer that he had died from. So, so it is confirmed that Christopher Ciccone did pass away. And then, Madonna did put out a statement. We'll get to that in a second. But what I found irritating was that people, well, Madonna needs to get ahead of this and she needs to confirm it. And I was like, y'all need to give her a moment. Like, literally, her stepmother passed away not too long ago. And then on top of it, she was a mean girl too. But I get it. The fact of the matter was, your mother, Madonna Sr., is the love of your life. And I can only imagine what a child goes through when you lose your mother and your father just moves on to another woman and moves on with his life, and you're bringing this woman in and she's trying to come in and help him out with the parenting, and then the child's gonna be rebellious because it's like, you're not my mom, you can't tell me what to do. Y'all know the tea, y'all know the attitude, you know how the children are. Because I couldn't imagine if my parents was ever if I was to ever be in a position like Madonna or anybody who loses a parent and then you get a bonus parent, or there's or you're a child of divorce and then your father or mother moves on to somebody, I would be the same way. I would not necessarily be the nicest person to that bonus parent that I'm getting. I'd probably put them through hell, like I was doing to a lot of people when I was a kid that loves to remind me of, oh, you was a terror. A lot of the babysitters, they'll tell you I put them through hell. But anyway, let's get to the story, and then I'll get to Madonna's statement and all the other stuff. And then what she actually did that a lot of people don't know in regards of like how she was helping him out in his final days. So Christopher Ciccone, an artist, interior designer, and younger brother of Madonna, has died, according to his rep, Brad Taylor. He was 63 years old. Now, Ciccone had been battling cancer and died peacefully, surrounded by his husband, Ray Thacker, and other loved ones, according to a statement from Ciccone's rep. Now, Ciccone, who got his start as a dancer and choreographer, used his talents to support Madonna's emerging career, becoming dresser and creative consultant to his superstar sister. He also directed music videos and tours, including Madonna's The Girly Show World Tour in 1993, and he was the art director for her 1990 Blonde Ambition World Tour. So he has played a huge part in her career, in the early part of her career. I also got a confirmation from Salim who was actually one of the dancers on, I believe it was the Girly Show or the Blonde Ambition. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Slam actually came out and did a tribute to Chris as well. So people don't realize this, but yes, Chris played a prominent role in the early stages of Madonna's career in a lot of, the behind the scenes. But then, he has post working with his sister, he went to work on as an interior footwear and furniture designer and artist, and this is where he and Madonna had they fallen out. So back in 2008, he wrote a book, bestseller, which, child, don't throw your tomatoes at me, but I did buy it. But I got it but here's the tea. I got it from the Goodwill. I didn't go to an actual Barnes and Noble. Like when I went to a Goodwill and I seen the book there, I was like, let me buy it. So I got it up in storage, got it in a box. So I did buy the book. But, because I buy everything that had to do with Madonna, good, bad, or indifferent. So, and then that's when they had their falling out because he wrote the book or whatever. And then he also, for what people don't realize, is that he says that Madonna outed him in a 1991 interview with The Advocate, where she identified him as a homosexual. Well, she said gay, but I just want to say the other word. And he accused Madonna's ex-husband, Guy Ritchie, of being homophobic, which I would not be surprised by. Like, Guy Ritchie is a guy's guy, not excusing the behavior, but he's a guy's guy. He's into mixed martial arts. He does a lot of these bro type movies, and I'm sure he's worked with quite a few homosexuals. I ain't trying to out nobody in Hollywood, but Guy, you have worked with a couple of homosexuals in your movies. If you know what I'm saying, I think you do. But anyway, so he basically said that Guy was a homophobe. And here's the thing. You cannot be married to the Queen of Pop and expecting her to be demure and mindful, as she once was briefly when they were going through their marriage, whatever, the little frilly dresses and her being all very British, posh and all that other stuff. And then it was like, the rebellious side of hers coming out was through her music and all that other stuff, the concerts and things of that nature. Watch the Reinvention Show if you don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to tell you a secret and all that. You get all of that from that. That rebel's still there, even though she was married to Mr. Demure. As he was trying to present himself as much. But yeah, you cannot be married to one of the biggest queer advocates and someone who was at the forefront of the HIV and AIDS movement before it became this popular thing when pop stars supporting the gays and supporting people with HIV and AIDS and that sort of thing. Madonna has endured a lot. Her career was on the line a lot of times because she was defending the gays and defending people who were dying of HIV and AIDS and that sort of thing, which was a taboo thing in Hollywood. Now everybody doing it. But you cannot be married to her and be a homophobe. That just don't make sense. That's like hating black folks, but you in an interracial relationship. So he said that the turning point in their relationship came when she brought cameras to their mother's grave for the 1991 documentary Truth or Dare, saying, I kept it inside and I thought to myself, okay, there are no boundaries now. My mother's now become a bit player in her life story, and it hurt me. He told Good Morning America in 2008, and my opinion of her altered at that moment. I never said anything about it. He also added, I think ultimately she's a lonely person, and unfortunately it truly is lonely at the top. Well, yeah, that's the truth. And my thing is this. Now, while you sitting there looking at it as like she's using your mother as a side attraction, or she's using it for clout, as, the kids like to say. Damn, I'm making myself sound old when I say that. But anyway, to be like, yeah, everybody said, oh, she's she's using the mother for clout. But I'm like, if she's doing a documentary that is showcasing the good, the bad, and the ugly side of her life, which I applaud her for. The fact of the matter is, you get too many of these people that do these documentaries and music, these music documentaries, and they only want to show one side of themselves. Madonna was willing to show her vulnerable side, her sexy side, her bitchy side. We are all the sides. So I like seeing that she humanized herself in a lot of these situations. Behind that hard exterior is somebody who's soft and pink. And I love the fact that she showed that. But then again, on the flip side, we have to look at it as, well, how does that affect your other family members? How does that affect everybody else that's looking at it as like, oh, well, now you sit up here doing something completely unorthodox. You're basically at our mother's grave, and you're putting her on camera like she's this sideshow attraction. But then again, it's sort of like, why can't Madonna go up there and show that vulnerable side and let people connect to her in that sort of way, when it's just like, I feel lonely because I don't have my mother here to protect me and all those other things. So those are the sides we have to look at. But then again, Chris, you ain't no damn innocent either in this situation, because some people would also say, but then again, you wrote a whole book called My Sister Madonna, where you were using your relationship with your sister as clout to sell a book, which made Madonna feel betrayed. So, we got to play devil's advocate and show all the sides. So maybe that's the way he should look at it too. But then, Madonna's longtime rep, who, child, I wish she would come out of retirement and get back with her. Liz Rosenberg told her, because I can't with whoever's working with her now, but we need Liz Rosenberg back. So Madonna's longtime rep, Liz Rosenberg, told the Associated Press at the time that the artist didn't read the tell-all, but found it very upsetting that Christopher decided to sell a book based on his sister. I would have to assume that she has come to terms with the fact that they do not have a close and loving relationship. And with the book coming out, I assume that will remove the chances of ever happening. But in a 2012 interview, Ciccone indicated they had patched things up. Our relationship is fine as far as I'm concerned, he told CBS. And then added to the Evening Standard, we are in contact with each other, although I haven't seen her for a long time. We're back to being brother and sister. I don't work for her, and it's better this way. I couldn't be more proud of her. She is a force to be reckoned with. Does she have Barbra Streisand's voice? No. Can she dance like Martha Graham? Probably not. But the combination of her abilities has made her great and left a huge legacy for her and through her for me. God bless her. And I'm glad he said that, because a lot of people out here, when I give Madonna her flowers, especially with the whole Katy Perry thing, she don't sound like Donna Summer and all. I said, nobody ever said that she did. Madonna knows she doesn't have the most spectacular voice. In fact, she did an interview where she says, I know I don't have the most spectacular voice, but I do have something to offer. I do have something to say. She knows her strengths, and she's worked on the things that she's not the best at. She uses to the best of her ability. You focus on your own strengths. Don't be like Jennifer Lopez, who apparently she don't think, she's not aware. When you have somebody who lacks self-awareness, and the weird part is they both Leos. So I don't know how Madonna has self-awareness, but you don't. And maybe, but you know what? Then again, like I be saying, some of the people that identify as Virgos, I be side-eyeing y'all. I'm like, no, you must be more of a Libra than a Virgo, or you must be more of a Leo than a Virgo, because the things that you identify with, that's what the sign don't match. Because you can't be out here talking about you have self-awareness. I mean, you lack self-awareness, and you out here still singing ballads when that ain't with your ministry. But the funny part is when you look at Madonna, and some of y'all haters be out here, she can't sing. Then why are some of her biggest hit ballads then? Make that make sense. Why is it that Live to Tell, which is not an up-tempo track, is one of her biggest hits? Why is it that Oh Father, another ballad, is one of her biggest hits? So when y'all sit up here and try to throw the tomatoes in the shade, you might want to do your research before you try to come in with your reads. So it's not her dance hits aren't her biggest hits. Maybe they're on the dance charts, but her ballads are her biggest hits. And she knows that she wasn't the best dancer. But the thing was, and that's why if you look at it, Madonna's always chosen people who kind of are similar to her in regards of the dance style, which is like, I don't want you to be technically perfect. I want you to come in and have that personality, and you stand out in a way. That's why the way she chooses dancers always is a step above what everybody else is doing because she don't want technicality. She don't want technical perfection. It's the same thing with her voice. She doesn't have the best voice, but she makes what she has work in her favor. And those are the artists I prefer more so than those that know they can sing and want to be basically vocal masturbators. And it's like, bitch, we know you can sing. You don't need to do them crazy extra runs. We don't need you to do the extra stuff to prove to us that you can sing. We can hear. I got ears. They work. Trust and believe. But I don't need you doing all the extra stuff. So when I come out here and I do artist talk, I try to break it on down so that way everybody gets it. But then I should also, before we get to Madonna's statement, I want to talk a bit about her gesture that she did for her brother, in his final days. So according to the story, shout out to Daily Mail for this. So this says that a lifelong friend of Christopher's spoke with Daily Mail about Cicconi's final months after he had mended fences with the Vogue artist, 66, after years of discord. Christopher had pancreatic cancer and had been living in Madonna's house in LA for over a year prior to his passing. The source noted that despite their tumultuous relationship over the years, Madonna took care of him during his fight with cancer and spared no expense in ensuring he had the best possible care and support. Cicconi also had past clash with Madonna for outing him in a 1991 interview she did with The Advocate. And, we already just talked about that, so we don't really have to go into that story again. But just know that he's been living in her house in LA, and she basically has been helping finance and provide him with all the care he needs. And it's crazy how it's like she was going through her stuff where she almost lost her life. Her stepmother just passed away not too long ago, and then her brother has been battling cancer. So, and then on top of that, she's got 6 kids. She's raising all the young ones. I don't know. Rocco got his thing going on, and Laura's got her thing going on. So we don't have to worry about them. But everybody else, she's taking care of them. I don't think Guy gets any more money from her, so she ain't got to worry about his bitch ass no more. But, Madonna finally did get on Instagram with her post, tribute to her brother, and said the following. So let's get to that. So she said, my brother Christopher is gone. He was the closest human to me for so long, it's hard to explain our bond. But it grew out of an understanding that we were different and society was going to give us a hard time for not following the status quo. We took each other's hand and we danced through the madness of our childhood. In fact, dance was a kind of superglue that held us together. Discovering dance in our small Midwestern town saved me, and then my brother came along, and it saved him too. My ballet teacher, also named Christopher, created a safe space for my brother to be gay, a word that was not spoken or even whispered where we lived. When I finally got the courage to go to New York to become a dancer, my brother followed. And again, we took each other's hands, and we danced through the madness of New York City. We devoured art and music and film like hungry animals. We were in the epicenter of all these things exploding. We danced through the madness of the AIDS epidemic. We went to funerals and we cried and we went dancing. We danced together on stage in the beginning of my career, and eventually he became the creative director of many tours. When it came to good taste, my brother was the Pope, and you had to kiss the ring to get his blessing. Well, that was how it basically was with a lot of the gays in those days. These days, y'all just accept basic bullshit. But for the most part, back in the day, the gays were at the forefront and on the pulse of what was popping off in pop culture and that sort of thing. We were the soothsayers. So, we defied the Roman Catholic Church, the police, the moral majority, and all authority figures that got in the way of artistic freedom. My brother was right by my side. He was a painter, a poet, and a visionary. I admired him. He had impeccable taste and a sharp tongue, which he sometimes used against me, but I always forgave him. Well, the gays, we could read you down to the floor. That's why Madonna loved the gays so damn much. She's like, we're going to tell you about yourself, sis. We soared the highest highs together and floundered in the lowest lows. Somehow we always found each other again and we held hands and we kept dancing. The last few years have not been easy. We did not speak for some time, but when my brother got sick, we found our way back to each other. I did my best to keep him alive as long as possible. He was in so much pain towards the end. Once again, we held hands, we closed our eyes, and we danced together. I'm glad he's not suffering anymore. There will never be anyone like him. I know he's dancing somewhere. And you know, just reading that really hurt. But it also goes to show, like, you know what? I never understood. So yeah, the tabloids and everybody, that could create a little fluff pieces, whatever the case was. But I really love the fact that we got it from her and that other person that spoke through about Christopher and how he was staying with Madonna and that sort of thing at her home. And the fact that, yeah, he got sick, but we found our way to each other and we worked things out. And I wanted to make sure that he was comfortable, that he had the best care that money could buy. And I'm going to take care of my family. So it was good hearing that, you know, they found their way back to each other. But I did not know the magnitude of their relationship in that way, that when she moved from Michigan to New York, we've always heard about, oh, the $35 in our pocket and that sort of thing. We always hear that story, but I never knew that Christopher also moved to New York, because that would have also been the perfect place for him as a gay man in the 90s. Well, I don't know how long he moved. I mean, how long before he actually moved there. But Madonna moved out here in the 70s, the late 70s, I think like 78 or something or another, before her career took off years later. But when he moved here, I don't know how long that was, but coming in, we'll say maybe he came out here in the 80s, whatever the case was. That is a perfect time for him, especially, you know, with the crazy AIDS crisis and all that other stuff, for him to, you know, develop as a gay man and be his true authentic self, because you could be whoever you wanted to be in New York. So shout out to you, Madonna. Shout out, you know, to the Ciccone family. My heart breaks for you guys, and it, you know, and all that good stuff. I mean, I don't think I have anything else to offer on that, but I do ask you this question. What do y'all think of this story? You know, condolences to Madonna. I know she's been having a crazy year in regards of a lot of stuff that's been going on. She had a successful year with the tour and everything, and I know she's working on the new music, but the fact that it's like she's losing so much family, and her father's still here too. So I'm sure that he's going through it as well. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said, oh yeah, we read that one. I think I read that one. I heard about Chris dying on Saturday. He said he died the same day as her well, damn. It's like the stepmother's funeral. He died on the same day. Did you ever hear his interview? No, I may have to do some Googling on that, because I'm sure like it's making the rounds again now that he passed. And you said, I heard he hooked up. Well, I would not be surprised. First of all, I can imagine that Chris would be hooking up with some Madonna fans, and the Madonna fans would be hooking up with him because they feel like that's the closest I'll ever get to her, is that I can go around and have bragging rights that I slept with Madonna, brother. So you can run around saying that. And you said that's why I like Bionic, because Christina didn't. That's what we was all saying. And it's funny how you mentioned that whole thing about Christina, because that's who exactly I was talking about when I threw that over singing stray. The vocal masturbation. It's like, we know you can sing. You don't need to like go crazy over letting everybody know that we know you can sing. We know you can hold a note. You don't have to prove it, because all you're going to do is wind up putting a little wear and tear on your vocals, your vocal cords or whatever. But you don't need to, you know. Wait, did she lip sync at the AMAs, the one that came on last night? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, quiet as it's kept. But yeah, I may have to check that out. Madonna did say she tried to keep him alive as long as possible. Please check your inbox. Lady Gaga finally acknowledges the truth of who her career. Did she? Well, damn, I got 11 I got a lot of messages. Well, look, I gotta now. Friends is invite me out to hang out. Oh, you sending me this stuff about Elon? Kanye West and look, every other week I'm reporting about Kanye West and Bianca's marriage on the rocks. Until I hear they file for divorce, I don't care. Oh, I'm seeing this thing about Coachella. I'm gonna get into. Oh, you said Lady Gaga names Madonna and Britney Spears as icons she looks up to. Oh, this was on Pop Crave. This is not Pooh Crave. This is Pop Crave. So, it's legit, I guess. But look, we've been saying it, right? Man, who hasn't been inspired by Britney Spears? We loves the Britney over here, even though, yes, I make fun. But Britney was that girl back in the day. She may not be today, because, you know, the lithium and what all that did to her. But back in the day, Britney was that girl. I didn't know either. That's why I said this is a lot of surprise. Madonna was keeping a lot of secrets. The fact that, and that's why I wanted to put that out there and let people know, because, you know, people are going to run around with their own narrative and trying to, oh yeah, they hated each other. Now she want to come around. It's like, first of all, he's been living with her living in her LA home, because she spends more time in New York. But I'm sure that she's been flying back and forth to check in on him and that sort of thing. And, she's been keeping that a secret, and I love the fact that she kept that private until like all this came out. Then we all know the stuff now. And I saw like Michelle Visage and so many other people had left comments. But yeah, that almost choked me up a little bit. I was like, I got a hold of the Gellar on this show, because that was the first time I actually read that whole, like I saw the tribute and everything that she posted on her Instagram, but as I was reading it, that was actually the first time I read that thing, that tribute in full. Chris was one of her dancers in the beginning of her career. He was in a Lucky Star video. He should have been in the Everybody video too. You want to know something? I ain't gonna hold you, but I love the choreography in the Everybody because it's so simple. Where it looks like it's just them randomly dancing, but it's choreographed. And I like stuff like that when it feels effortless, or they dancing, but it don't feel like somebody spent hours in the studio trying to put the choreography together. Like they just came up with it on the fly. I like stuff like that. Kind of like when Robin was doing the whole Body Talk era, and she was like, "Yeah, I was inspired by oh my God, Rosie Perez, when she used to dance on the Soul Train line and do the right thing." And she was like, "I wanted to feel like it's natural, like it's not real choreography that I'm doing." And it was like, it worked. That's why I lived for back in the day. There was a lot of iconic moments. These days, I don't know who we gonna look at as the next generation of passing that down. Screamathon tribute. Oh, she was up there. I told her Screamathon. She was up there screaming. I didn't watch it yet. I'll probably watch it tonight. But then again, I gotta remind myself, I gotta do a rewatch of, oh my God, I did watch, I'm gonna tell you, I actually did watch Salem's Lot. And I'm trying to wait and see if like I should probably do a separate thing about Salem's Lot and do my list, or should I include it in the regular show of us doing the top list of what I have instead of just doing like one full episode. But I did watch Salem's Lot. But yeah, I haven't watched the thing yet. The 50th anniversary. I haven't watched it, but I'm gonna try to check it out tonight. But I want to do a rewatch of Terrifier, the both of them, before I go see 3 this week. It's sad due to the falling out. He didn't get to be the fun gunkle to Lola. Yeah, because I'm like, yeah, I guess what he wasn't in. Did he? I'm trying to wonder. So they weren't speaking until they found out about his cancer diagnosis, or were they always, or was it before that when they work things? I don't know. Okay, so now let's move on. Let's talk about Halle Berry, who is calling out the Sugar Honey Iced Tea in Hollywood, because this was a story that actually came out a year ago, but she just now responded to it. And I'm like, Halle, are you living in a bubble? Why are you speaking out a year later on something that Matthew Vaughn said last year at Comic-Con? So Halle Berry called out the shady-ish in Hollywood as she responded to director Matthew Vaughn, revealing he quit X-Men 3 over studio deception towards her in a resurfaced clip. Now, in an interview clip that resurfaced from last year's New York Comic-Con, where the British director claiming that he quit X-Men 3, released in 2006, after Berry was sent a fake script to entice her to sign on. The Daily Mail newspaper reported that Berry responded to Vaughn's claims of deception with a post on Instagram, writing, "You just never know the shady-ish going on behind your back. Thank you, Matthew Vaughn, for bringing the dark to light." The Oscar-winning actress has previously played the character Storm in the hit franchise from its debut in 2000, including the original and sequels. At New York Comic Con last October, Matthew explained how executives at Fox, which sold its entertainment properties, thank God, to Disney years later, produced a phony script they felt would appeal to the Academy Award-winning actress. He said, "I thought if you're going to do that to an Oscar-winning actress who plays Storm, I quit. I thought I'm mincemeat." I said Vince because I was about to call him Vince Vaughn. Vaughn said during a panel per The Hollywood Reporter. Vaughn then said that in an effort to cement Berry to the project, Fox produced an extended script centered around Berry's character Storm. It featured a huge sequence at the start of the film, which elements of the storyline that had no intent on actually including in the finished product. "One of the main reasons I quit X-Men 3, and this is a true story, Hollywood is really political and odd," the director said. Well, yeah, they are. And I think this is what also is hurting the industry, because you have a lot of executives behind the scenes who don't know jack squat about art, creativity, that sort of thing. You have a lot of these banks and a lot of these people who have money and accountants making the decisions. And it's like, y'all are not creative. That's why I'm a little worried about that's why I'm a little worried about James Gunn's DCU, not necessarily for him because he's an artist and he knows what he's doing, but I'm worried that Warner Brothers is going to start interfering, kind of like they did with the Joker too. Wow, that movie was a piece of trash. But y'all need to let people create. You need to let artists come in with their idea, their storyboards, whatever it is that they come up with, and let them execute the film based off of the material that they get from looking into the comics and that sort of thing. And not, because y'all worrying about how many butts y'all can get in the seat. And the one thing I've always said that it despised me about Fox and how they treated the X-Men movies, particularly how y'all treated Halle Berry's Storm. That used to always irritate me. I'm like, why are y'all underutilizing her in these films? She is a big, prominent part of the X-Men series, one of the most powerful mutants. I don't understand why y'all tended to not use her as much. So that used to always piss me off with these movies. It seemed like y'all wanted to push Hugh Jackman out in the forefront more so than anybody else. Was he out there? No, I don't want to do that to him because I like Hugh Jackman. And I met Hugh Jackman. He's a nice guy. So I'm not going to do no casting couch type stuff to him. But it used to irritate me the way Bryan Singer would treat certain male stars, being him being a homosexual, and them rumors about his notorious parties, very similar to Diddy's. Look it up. The information's out there. His infamous pool parties. And so it kind of makes me wonder, is like the way that you treated certain characters and will push them more to the forefront versus some of the other characters who needed that strong art. The fact of the matter is Halle Berry is one of the most popular actors that was in that franchise, also an Oscar winner. Why would y'all continuously pushing her in the background? And to me, what I'm curious about was what made her actually sign on. Because if y'all was coming up there, y'all went and created a whole fake script just to entice her to sign on. And when she signs on, then all of a sudden you're going to start removing things and trigger like, oh yeah, that scene wasn't working. So you're going to film all that stuff. The scene will end up on the cutting room floor. And then that was just to get her to come up in there and do that movie. Because he's saying like, he went to an exec's office and I saw an X3 script. It was a lot fatter. He said, I asked, what is this draft? They were like, don't worry about it. And then he said he read through the sequence concocted to persuade the Monsters Ball star to agree to reprise her role in the film franchise. He said, I grabbed it and opened the first page and it says Africa, kids dying from no water, and a storm creates a thunderstorm to save all these children. I thought it was a pretty cool idea. He continued, I said, what is this? They said, this is Halle Berry's script because she hasn't signed on yet. This is what she wants it to be. And once she signs on, we'll throw it in the bin. Berry would eventually sign up for the movie, joining an ensemble cast that included Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, Famke Janssen, Ian McKellen, Kelsey Grammer, and the artist formerly known as, well, we're going to just call her Elliot Page. I don't want a dead name, but if you've seen him in the other movie, who he used to be. So we're going to go with Elliot Page. Now, Vaughn initially replaced X2 director Bryan Singer in the franchise and would ultimately be replaced by Brett Ratner for the 2006 movie. Brett Ratner, who you know directed the Rush Hour movies, he also used to direct a lot of Mariah Carey's music videos. So, but even though the movie was a financial success and brought in $460 million at the global box office, no shade, but it wasn't a good movie. I was fairly disappointed with X3, The Last Stand, especially when y'all had her go in that scene with Miss Girl with the labret piercing. How she was up in there beating up Halle Berry, and Halle Berry got in a couple of licks, but she was getting her behind beat. That's kind of like that scene, the one, even though I love this fight scene, is iconic. Total Recall, the original one with Rachel Tickerton and Sharon Stone. Sharon Stone, like Rachel got in one good, roundhouse kick, but Sharon Stone beat her ass through that whole movie. And I'm like, wait a minute now. Now, we're just not going to just have one person getting a good punch, but then you getting your behind beat. And I remember when I was in the movies, they was like, come on, Halle. They was like getting mad. The audience was getting mad because she getting her ass beat. And it's like, don't blame her. Blame the damn director and the screenwriters, because they was up in there continuously trying to make her look weaker than what she is. But I did love that little twirl scene that she would just come in like the little cyclone. I did like that part. But other than that, I'm still irritated over the fact of how y'all continue to just underutilize Halle Berry in these damn movies. Like, there could have been better ways that y'all could have used her. But I will say this. I did thoroughly enjoy her in Days of Future Past. I felt like that was the perfect film. Days of Future Past is, out of all the franchises since X2, is like one of my all-time favorite sequels. I just love that film. I loved everything about it. I just thought it was the way that they worked everything out in those films. And then Boober Stewart, cute little behind. I was loving him up in that movie too. Shout out to my indigenous folk. But I was like, I always had a little crush on Boo Boo Stewart. But anyway, so they also said that Berry revealed that and then also, let's not forget, she was supposed to be, they said, in Deadpool and Wolverine. But Ryan Reynolds never reached out to her. And there was always a rumor that she and Scott, aka, Cyclops, James Marsden, was supposed to be in the film. They said they had film footage or whatever, but apparently that was a lie. But then she went into Blake Lively at a Marc Jacobs fashion show and was like, well, are you going to be in the movie? And she was like, he never asked me. She would have been in it if he did, but she's not in it. But yeah, so I still like to say, shout out to you, Halle Berry. And shame on you, Hollywood, for playing these little stunts and shows to get people to sign on because y'all want to continue to play in these celebrity faces. Because I'm sure she came in and was like, I did the first one where y'all had me do that horrible African accent and that put me in that horrible ass wig. I still can't with that wig. Like, I'm trying to wonder whose wigs is worse. That wig in the first X-Men, or any of the wigs that Tyler Perry be putting on any of his actresses in all his movies. But I will say that the wig in X3 is my favorite, even though I ain't like the movie. I did like a wig in that one, and I did like the wig in Days of Future Past. I did like that wig because it was kind of like fitting with her actual hairdo with the short hair and stuff. But it kind of had like a little punky rock and roll type look. But yes, for the most part, that was a little shady. But I do wonder what actually got her to sign on to the movie. Did they present her with that fake script? And she was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to sign on because now y'all give me something to do. They filmed that footage. It ended up on the cutting room floor, and then we got what we got. And she just now found out about it because Matthew Vaughn spilled the tea at Comic-Con. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? I mean, I'm hoping, look, here's the thing also. The future of X-Men, now that y'all in the MCU, I really hope, and I know that Kevin Feige, from what I've heard, this is his, like, he loves X-Men. So I'm really hoping, especially when we went through that rough patch with Phase 4, that in this new phase that we're going into, that y'all will finally, even though we've had some sequels that I thought were good, some of them were not so good, I'm really hoping and praying that this reboot of X-Men in the MCU, y'all will finally do this franchise justice. And please don't start listening to these people, what the wrong, they like to throw woke with them. I'm like, are you dumb? First of all, if you look at the X-Men, it's always about diversity and inclusion. That's kind of what it's about. It's about a group of people who have powers who are discriminated against society. So if you think that we can't, that wasn't a metaphor that I do feel like was touched on perfectly by Bryan Singer, where he incorporated kind of like it had like that the homophobic undertone that was thrown in that in regards to the discrimination against gay people, and then had that scene of Iceman coming out to his family as a mutant. We caught the metaphor. Those, those of us who are homosexual, that was a little bit of that. So I did like that personal aspect was brought into it. And of course, I love X-Men 97, what they did with that. Shout out to Bo DeMayo, even though, they did what they did to you. So, and we'll see what they do with season 2 and 3. But I really want y'all to do X-Men justice and don't be doing people dirty like y'all did Halle. So whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. So you said my favorite all-time movie is Fatal Attraction. I do love that movie. And I don't know if y'all heard, but do y'all know they're coming out with a remake to The Hand That Rocks the Cradle? I heard that the other day. Since we talking about Ariana Grande, her ex-husband's new girlfriend, Micah Monroe, is actually going to be playing in the film. I believe she is playing Peyton. First of all, when you talk about Fatal Attraction, I do love that movie. First of all, I can't look at bunny rabbits the same, and I actually had a bunny rabbit when I was a kid growing up. But Hand That Rocks the Cradle is another favorite movie of mine. I just love the overall over-the-top campiness of it. And I'm definitely curious to see what they're going to do with this version. Rebecca De Mornay and Annabella Sciorra, and they big old fight at the end. And you had Ernie Hudson over there playing somebody who had a disability. They used the R word up in that movie. But that's like one of my favorite movies too. So I really hope that the remake doesn't suck. But I wonder who's going to play Annabella's character and the husband. He said, I heard they started talking again in 2012 because their father wanted them to stay in each other's lives. Well, that's cool that they were able to do that. They said, but back then I'm guessing it was just a hype. But when you've been hurt a lot of times, it takes a while for the ice to wear off. Because, they do be cool. Madonna could be an ice queen. Leos are very stubborn, but Hugh was the sex symbol of the movie series. Well, yeah, he was. And don't get me wrong, he was definitely sit on my face, even though that is a lot of man. Because standing next to him, he is fairly tall. He's like 6'4" or something or another. But yeah, he is fairly a tall man. But he was the sex symbol, and it was good to play that up. But of course, you need to seem to not forget this is an ensemble. So you need to play off everybody else too, and not just make it about Hugh Jackman, because Hugh Jackman was never, well, not Hugh Jackman, but Wolverine was never like the lead of the X-Men. But anyway, I wanted to lighten up the load before we get to the heavy stuff. So that's why I did all that movie stuff in the beginning. But yeah, let's get into Diddy. Because it seems like it's not a day that goes by that we don't talk about the diddler. But apparently his mama, Janice Combs, put on one of her synthetic, $2 wigs from the Dollar Tree to come to her son's defense in regards to all the accusations that's been going around about her son. Because I have been wondering, okay, so we haven't heard from Janice. We heard from the kids with the whole with the book, which I saw some people on a lot of my social media, particularly TikTok. They said they do not believe that this book is a lie. There's some people out there that do believe what's in that book. It was like, it's too descriptive or something. I'm like, have you never heard of fiction? You can make a whole lot of stuff up, but people gonna believe what they want to believe, so I'm not gonna judge too hard on that. But so Janice Smalls Combs, Diddy's mother, has released a statement in defense of her son as he faces allegations of trafficking and SA. She said the following: "I come to you today as a..." Why does it sound like she's about to stand on a podium before she starts spilling this? "I come to you today as a mother that is devastated and profoundly saddened by the allegations made against my son, Sean Combs." I did not know she was 84. Black don't crack, by the way. Or should I say, she got a good surgeon. Because the way I've been looking at Janet, she has some work done. There ain't no way in hell that all that is black don't crack. She has this little nip and tuck going on, but look, money well spent. So yeah, this is what she basically said to the Daily Mail in a statement through her lawyer, not Natalie. That's like Deb Antony. That's not even Anthony, it's Antony. So Natalie. So Natalie G. Figures saying it is hard, but she must be black. This said, it is heartbreaking to see my son judged not for the truth, but for a narrative created out of lies. To bear witness what seems to be like a public lynching of my son before he has had the opportunity to prove his innocence is a pain too unbearable to put into words. Now, Janice, who was hospitalized this past summer amid her son's legal issues, conceded that Diddy had not told the truth about being violent with Cassie Ventura, is captured in a March 2016 surveillance clip filmed at an LA hotel that publicly surfaced earlier this year. Janice said that by rapidly settling Cassie's lawsuit late last year, a day after she filed it, Diddy opened himself up to litigation from others to go after him for financial gains. Saying, I'm not here to portray my son as perfect because he's not. He has made mistakes in the past, as we all have. My son may not have been entirely truthful about certain things, such as denying he has ever gotten violent with an ex-girlfriend when the hotel surveillance showed otherwise. Sometimes the truth and the lie become so closely intertwined that it becomes terrifying to admit one part of the story, especially when that truth is outside the norm or is too complicated to be believed. What's she talking about? That somebody getting beat? That's not outside the norm. That happens more often than you realize. Domestic violence? That's not something that's a rare thing. Now, we hear about it when it comes to people, but of course, when it comes to celebrity, we don't hear about that often. But when that story comes out, we tend to, I guess, latch onto it because it is relatable in some sort of way. She also said that those factors were decisive in the Grammy Award-winning artist settling the suit with Cassie last year. This is why I believe my son's civil legal team opted to settle the ex-girlfriend lawsuit instead of contesting it until the end, resulting in a ricochet effect as the federal government used a decision against my son by interpreting it as an admission of guilt. But wait a minute. What is she talking about? Because she's talking about that the federal government uses decision against him by interpreting it as an admission of guilt. But he is guilty. First of all, Cassie came out with her lawsuit. He denied it. He said it was a money grab. And then the footage came out, probably because they were like, we've got footage of you doing this. You might want to settle this. And then I believe, I don't remember the math and how long it took before that footage came out, because a lot of people did jump on social media and say, oh, well, this is a money grab. Oh, she's trying to take a black man down because she's not black, and y'all want to sit whenever it comes to biracial or multiracial people. Y'all want to all of a sudden pull out this thermometer and this litmus test of who y'all think is black and not black enough. But I didn't even know that there was a thing that y'all could do that, but a lot of y'all was doing that on social media. Then come to find out, we got the footage of him beating her behind and dragging her and stuff. And then all of a sudden, y'all out here just like gagging. Oh my God, he did do it. And then, of course, where there's smoke, there's fire. So when she came up with her thing, that gave other people the strength to come out with their own stuff. Now, with her talking about this lynch mob and all this other mess, I think that damn wig too tight on her head, number one. But when you want to sit up in here and talk about this situation of everybody trying to come out and get their money grab or whatever, this is why the lawyers have to do what they do. They got to dot all their I's and cross all their T's. And if they are out here lying, then toss their stuff out. There's no proof or whatever the case is of you saying that this, and this happened. That's why the lawyers come in and do what they got to do. And that's why it takes a long time for these stories to come out and progress. But of course, it sounds like that she's blaming the other people or trying to say that the law is a lie and that her son, yeah, he's not perfect, but this is whatever. And I'm sitting there like, she comes from a different time. So when women were coming out and I guess saying that these things happen to them, this wasn't going on in her time. She 80-something years old. She's already set in her damn ways. And of course, she's going to go hard for her son because he's been taking care of her while he's been out here doing his little freak offs and his beatations of his ex-girlfriends and things of that nature. And I would not be surprised if Miss Janice was up in them freak offs too, or attending all his other little white parties and had seen some things. But look the other way, because why you want to go against the man that's taking care of you and got you set up and dealing with what you're dealing with? So I understand that that's your son and you're going to windmill and go hard for him, as a parent should, because, you know, the same thing with serial killers or whatever the case is. Even though you know your son guilty, a parent's not going to deny or go against their own child. Maybe if they came out as gay, because you know how the black community can be sometimes, especially with that. Oh, your child gay, you throw them to the street, but they go out there and kill somebody or beat up somebody or do whatever. Oh, my son wouldn't do that. So she coming up in all this mess, and then sitting up here had the nerve to talk about lies thrown at him and motivated by those seeking a financial gain. You definitely sound like what your son said before the tea came out about him doing what he did to them people. So Cassie, number one, and all the alleged other things that's coming out with these people. So yeah, if people are going to come out and say what they're going to say, it's sensationalized and all of the stuff. We know how the media works. But as I said, I'm going to continue to be optimistic. I'm going to let, the people do their job and all this other stuff. And if you can see the little red circles, this was the Daily Mail. Shout out to them. They posted where all the bruises was on Cassie's legs that she didn't cover up from Diddy putting paws on her and dragging her like she a piece of cattle. But the irritation was, oh, he made mistakes, but that said that his transgressions are not what they've been made out to be. But how do you know? Were you there? You're a single mother that was taking care of him. Your baby, the father of your child, Diddy, was not in his life. He died when Diddy was a kid. Because he was out here running the streets as a goon and got pop-howed. So I'm not going to take the word of this lady. So it's important to recognize that none of us, regardless of our status, are immune to fear and mistakes. Not being entirely straightforward about one's issue does not mean my son is guilty of the repulsive allegations and the grave charges leveled against him. Do she even know the charges? She also pointed out past people who have been falsely accused and convicted of crimes due to their reputations. Many individuals who were wrongfully convicted and later exonerated had the freedom taken from them not because they were guilty of the crimes they were accused of, but because they didn't fit the image of what this society continues to be a good person. History has shown us how individuals can be wrongly convicted due to their past actions or mistakes. Well, sis, I'm going to need you to name who these people are that were wrongfully convicted. I'll wait. But if she's trying to play up this angle like his attorney was, the one that like being on camera, and be like, oh, they try to come after a black man. If this is the angle, Miss Mamas, you gonna use, girl, I need you to get off my line with this BS. Because number one, your son is trash. He always been trash. Many people in the industry have known a lot of the things that Diddy has done to a lot of people. So we're not going to sit up here and try to act like, oh, these things are ridiculous. Oh, my son would never do these things. You would think any kind of mother would say that, but it seems like you don't know your son like you think you do. And of course, you're not going to come out and say, oh, yeah, my son's guilty, therefore lock him up and throw away the kid. You really think she's going to come out and say that? You'd be a fool to say that. So, of course, she's going to windmill hard for her child, just like when it comes to an attorney. The attorney's job is to make sure they try to get their client off, even if you know they're guilty. So, Janice, I need you to go sit down somewhere and continue to collect them horrible ass wigs you be wearing. Child, what is that? What is them wigs? Where's she getting these wigs from? This is why I miss wait, where's the other one that looked a mess up in here? That wasn't it. I think it was in the cover that I had. It's like, this is why I live for Aretha, because Aretha used to be shady back in the day, where you used to tell people, especially Mary J. Blige, she was like, if you're gonna wear a wig, make sure the root matches the wig you got on. So if you're gonna wear a blonde wig, make sure your roots is blonde, so they can blend it with the wigs and the weaves. Same thing. Lil' Kim wigs was looking a mess, but she got better with her wigs. Why, Janice? Your son a billionaire and you out here wearing these old, spirit Halloween wigs on your head? So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Janice, like I said, you need to go sit down somewhere right along with your son. Maybe you need to be in that prison cell with him. So what do y'all believe? Do you believe that people are going too hard and making up things about her son and blah, 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 all this other mess she's saying? I'm sitting up here looking at her like, find me the world's smallest violin, because that's what I'm playing right now. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Because I think Wiz Khalifa will make an excellent Jimmy. Are you talking about Jimi Hendrix? Yeah, he would, because he's tall. Y'all can throw a little afro wig on him. But can he act? I would definitely like to see that. I was thinking Childish Gambino, but He a little, he'd have to lose a whole lot of weight with that one. He kind of gives me a little resemblance to Jimi Hendrix. I was actually talking to somebody at one of the concerts I was working. He was telling me how like an older guy was like, I think, well, I don't know how old he was, but he was telling me that that he went to go see Jimi Hendrix in concert. He was like, I remember when concert tickets was, because he was telling me that how they got concert tickets. I can't remember the name of the band because I don't even listen to them. And if I don't know you, I just don't be paying attention. But he was like, him and his wife had won tickets to a recent concert that I worked. They won on the radio. And I think he said they're from Baltimore or something or another. So they came all the way up to New York to see the show. And he was telling me how he saw Jimi Hendrix in concert. And then months later, he passed away. I think it was a drug overdose, something or another. And was telling me how, like, he was like, concert ticket back in the day was $3. I'm like, can y'all bring it back to that? And I was like, yeah, Ticketmaster and all of them, they ruining the concert experience because concerts do not need to be $500 for no damn ticket, especially in the nosebleed. But then when you're on the floor, it's like $1,200. Diddy's lawyer said Cassie ran off with his clothes, bag with money, and hauled ass. He ran after her, grabbed his things, and dragged her. She wasn't running from a freak off. But I don't think she was running from a freak off. I think she was running to get away from him and probably was doing what she had to do to get up out that hotel room. And like a fool, she waited for the elevator. I don't care. My legs, my ass cheeks, everything is killing me. I'm taking the damn stairwell and I'm running my ass about there. I'm not waiting for no elevator. You know, elevators and stuff are always slow, especially if you're in a hotel. But Diddy lawyer need to go have several seats as well. They said Janice looked like, not the type of Brownsville mom who plays the numbers and doesn't tingle. Oh, I know people like that. There was this woman I used to work with. She do remind me of Janice Cone. When we worked at in the hospital, in the clinic, and she used to pick me up from work in the mornings, and we used to always go to the deli and get breakfast. And it was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just put it on my tab and I'll pay you later. And always play the numbers too. And her husband used to get mad at her because she played them numbers a lot. But and she used to tell, because I used to have to be quiet in the car when they be arguing, and she got them on speaker while she driving. But I'm like, wait a minute, you from Brooklyn? We found out you know them type of moms that play the numbers. But yeah, I know them people too. Like, especially when I had babysitters growing up. Oh, we got one of them, Miss Jessie, used to always, we going down to the number hole. And she that's what she used to call it. I guess that was what they used to call it back in the day. We got to go to the number hole. And she used to play them numbers. Always had to gamble. And then that's when, when she used to babysit me, I used to always have to sit and watch Days of Our Lives. And she used to do that noise and always go, shit. It was the weirdest people that I used to have to be, that I used to be around. But I used to hate hearing that when people used to snort and all that. It was like, ew. What are you trying to keep the phlegm down? I skipped you. Oh, he said you skipped me. How dare you? She should have gotten a storm. Look, first of all, we all know like there should have been many a solo movies that Halle Berry should have gotten. One was the Jinx movie, which was the spinoff from Die Another Day. That was supposed to happen, but then the studio was like, well, I don't think Halle Berry could make $80 million. Like, I mean, the budget was going to be $80 million. I don't think she's a box office draw. I'm like, are you dumb? First of all, everybody wanted that movie. And y'all didn't even give the opportunity to create a potential spinoff for a spy series. It's like everything don't have to star white folks. We want our own little things. If people give it a chance, if people go and see the film, it's like we ain't asked for Joker 2, but y'all gave us that, and you wonder why it flopped. But then there's actual movies that people want to see. Y'all don't want to do it because the racism, Hollywood, and then people always say, "Oh, Hollywood is woke. No, it's not. Hollywood is very conservative. Trust and believe. There's a lot of conservative people that work behind the scenes. So for people up here trying to act like wokeism and liberal, no, I don't know what planet y'all been on, but Hollywood has always been relatively conservative, especially the people that work behind the scenes and make the decisions. They try to do things to fit a certain quota we can see through the BS, but for the most part, when we want to see things that are diverse, we hear the conversations all the time for people who actually are in the business. So we wanted that. I would have loved to have seen the Jinx movie. We still want the Sophia movie, the John Wick spinoff. She deserves to have that. And Storm. I would definitely love to see a Storm film. You know who actually I would think now would make a good Storm? I would love to see Jodie Turner-Smith play Storm. I'd definitely like to see her play that part. It said Diddy's lawyer said, oh yeah, I read that one already. Then I read that one too, and I didn't read that, but you said I skipped you, so we went to your thing. You said, what is Diddy up to in the clink? He won't stop now either. And you said Hollywood royalty. Okay. Halle is a custodial parent who has to pay child support. Well, look, that's what she laid down with. But look, she got her good man Savannah now with Van Hunt. Anyway, oh, so we got this. I was like, we got another comment. How I skipped you? I didn't skip your other one. What you doing, my Willis? Well, I saw the Fatal Attraction story. I saw your J Hud Screamathon tribute. And then we were talking about Wiz Khalifa. You said Halle Berry with the Storm thing. Then you said you skipped me. And then you said, what is Diddy up to in the clink? Well, that wasn't you. That was somebody else. I didn't skip you. I said, I read everything up in here. Up in here, up in here. And then we saw that, the last time you posted before you said the other ones was J Hud's Screamathon tribute. But we call her Screamathon on this show. Screamer for Hudson. I didn't see your baby oil comment. Where was that at? Maybe you thought you posted that. In your imagination, you said something about baby oil. In my imagination, there is no I'm bringing every time. And then, of course, you had to throw in Kylie Minogue. Because we talking about your imagination. And then here you go with a Kylie Minogue post. She announced her mainland European tension leg, 2 France dates. Well, look, she now doing 2 France dates. We already know it's only a matter of time before she announced 2 nights in New York. That's what I'm waiting on. So I can try to work both nights of that show. Because, Kylie Minogue, that's the show I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to the Mary J. Blige one, too. And I'm glad she's not doing a Barclays Center. But anyway, let's move on. And speaking of Diddy, we have his former bodyguard, Gene Deal, recently did an interview. And he's spilling tea. He did it with the Art of Dialogue. So we have a clip that we'll get to in a second of him claiming that word on the curb is that Usher was hospitalized following an alleged essay from Diddy. And then there's a story that recently came out, I think, on the Daily Mail, where they were basically talking about, I think it was Daily Mail, or it might have been Page 6, one of them, where it was about that there's 2 A-listers that gave some women that they didn't know an STI, herpes, from hunching or whatever. And then there was some, because there's always been this story going around that there's a video out here that an A-lister is shaking in their boots, where apparently a younger celebrity is being taken advantage of and it's being recorded. Diddy's having sex with this young male A-lister, and now it seemed like it's being alluded that it might be Usher Raymond IV. So Sean Diddy Combs' former bodyguard Gene Deal has come forward with disturbing allegations, claiming the music executives informed him of an incident involving the Diddler and Usher when Usher was a child. Now, Deal, who previously worked as Diddy's bodyguard, claims that he saw lots of troubling behavior over the years, but of course continued to get paid while he saw it. The most unnerving allegation Deal made yet, however, came to light on October 4th. He went on the Art of Dialogue and alleged that Usher, one of Diddy's proteges in the 90s, was SA'd by the mogul. Furthermore, Deal urges Usher was in such bad shape following the assault that he was hospitalized. Deal asserts that he was not around when the alleged assault and the hospitalization took place, but said that he had heard it from a bunch of music execs. So I guess we're going to take this with a grain of salt, but there has been stories going around about a younger talent or whatever the case was that has been, on tape or whatever the case is. Now, if this do come out, shout out to Usher who had to endure this mess, but we do have the clip. I'm going to play it for y'all. It's about 5 minutes long. So please, well, 4.5, but please hold.
Don't mind me asking, because I know the topic is sensitive. What happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executive from the industry back in Harlem. You know, I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. And I'm not going to speak on their name. They doing programs and everything like that, and they may be doing some. They may speak on it themselves. But I heard it from some music executives.
What did you hear?
Bro, you know how people be talking, and we was around some people, something like that, and then some people might say, "Yo, I don't f with that dude." And at the time, I didn't even know who the f Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when somebody say, "Yo, man, I don't f with them niggas, man, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that." You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent her to the hospital? Man, nigga was bleeding from the butt. And that's what was said. But I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you hear it, and that's what happened. And that's just, that's something that you heard. You don't know if it's true, you just heard it. So, and just to hear this, and this new thing where they saying that they got kids coming forward and said that he did that, man, that shit is crazy.
So I was like, we'll leave it there because I feel like it was like, well, they're saying there was this kid or whatever the case was, and there's that. So I don't know. To me, it's like I wouldn't be surprised by any of this stuff that Diddy's saying. Here's the thing, also, and this is what I said before: a lot of y'all who are coming out with all these allegations that are going on, all these shows, all these YouTube channels, all these podcasts, and just spilling tea about what y'all allegedly heard and saw about Diddy and at these parties or whatever the case is. Y'all gotta realize that, you know what, there are people out here listening, and y'all probably gonna get called in by the FBI. You're gonna be called in probably as a witness. So y'all need to be watching what y'all saying out here. Cause y'all may be, what you saying can be used against you in the court of law. So I feel like y'all need to be real careful with the tea y'all putting out here to help these bloggers and all these other people get their ratings. So just be careful with that. But if Gene Deal is somebody who worked behind the scenes and these are things that he heard, what they're going to say is, because I don't think Usher's going to file charges. He's somebody who is of my generation. So we like to just put that stuff behind us and not be thinking about it. So if he was abused, and I would not be surprised if he was, because here's the thing. I don't understand how y'all leaving a 13-year-old with no grown-ass man to be mentored. And where's the mother? Where is, what's her name? Paulette or Pauletta? I can't remember Usher's mama name. Janetta, I think is her name. But anyway, it don't matter. The fact that where's Usher's mother in this whole situation? Like the fact that I understand, like you want to help your kid with his dream, help him out with his dream and all this stuff. And maybe a lot of parents aren't really aware of the predatory behaviors that a lot of these older people, are infiltrated in the industry, and there are a lot of predators. We've seen the, I've heard them over the years, especially as a kid trying to get in this, with somebody who went on auditions, did the whole child actor thing, did just basically what was it? Like open castings, all this stuff. And then I realized I didn't want to do the whole acting thing. I just went off and did my own thing. But when you hear about the casting couches and all those other stories, and those stories were always embedded in my brain, which has kind of always kept me a little hesitant from fully jumping into this industry wholeheartedly. And then on top of that, worrying about like my parents, because it's like I'm even not foregoing fully for my dream because I'm worried about my siblings have to be taken care of and my parents are having to sacrifice, and I don't want them to do too much of that. So I just did my little things here, there. But for the most part, when you have to go in and you worry a lot about, I just think a lot of parents just go in fully trusting that these people really are gonna help their kids out and lead them to a great path. And then maybe the parents subconsciously are thinking about, oh, I'm not gonna be in poverty, and I'm not gonna be on the streets, and I'm not gonna be homeless, and I don't have to, and we're gonna be rich, and we're gonna be successful. But then you don't realize that there's a price that you have to pay when you get caught up in the dark side of Hollywood, where you have these predators who prey on a lot of these young kids who are just naive and don't know no better, and their parents are naive as well. Because we heard the story when we watched the Dan Snyder Nickelodeon thing, how Drake Bell. His father had the instincts of this man who's working on this show. He's got these intentions. But you had people that were in the industry was like, oh, you're a homophobe because you're equating a gay guy with being a pedophile. And for the most part, yes, that is not true that gays are not pedophiles. However, this man was. And there's always one rotten apple that's going to spoil the bunch. But you can't hit everybody with the broad brush and be like, we're all like this, because we're not. So when all that came out, what happened was Drake, the guy, I can't remember his damn name off the top of my head, and it don't matter because he was a piece of shit and he went to jail and all the other stuff anyway. You know, he got his that came to him. But once he worked his magic of putting the mother and the father against each other, the father was pushed out of the way. The mother came in with her naive behind, not knowing what the hell was going on, put this trust in this man, and then his son was taken advantage of and sexually assaulted by the criminal. So these are the things you have to take into consideration. So when you got Janice and then tight ass, dry ass wigs getting on social media, talking about, oh, my son would be capable of doing all of that. Meanwhile, you was reaping all the benefits from your son being this mogul. So I'm not going to listen to some 80-some-year-old woman who wear $2 synthetic wigs and dusty-ass fur coats. I'm not listening to her with all this mess. So he said that this is the Usher situation now. Now, if Usher come out and start filing lawsuits and suing Gene for saying what he's saying, then we'll talk about this on this show. But if some of that went on, because here's the thing, now people looking at it like maybe there's some truth to it, because Usher tried to run around on Twitter, and all this Diddy stuff started coming on. All of a sudden, his Twitter was wiped clean, and then he want to sit out here and talk about, oh, I was hacked. Who is hacking Elon Musk's Twitter in 2024? Don't nobody care about Twitter enough to be trying to hack that Stewart from Mad TV's, app. Ain't nobody trying to do that. Don't nobody care about Twitter enough to want to hack through it. You were trying to save face and clean house and disassociate yourself from, allegedly, from all the stuff that's been happening with Diddy. So you didn't want no parts in the situation. Because everybody also thinking you may have had a little something to do with what he did to Justin Bieber, because you were his mentor and you pretty much just threw him to the wolves. We talked about that in the last show. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do y'all believe that Diddy, the diddler, did something to Usher? And do you also think that Gene Deal was being truthful in what he said? He might be the Jaguar Wright. Him and Jaguar Wright might be, may have to do a podcast together. They be having a whole lot of tea. They be spilling. You got Ray J getting mad at Jaguar for speaking to the white people and not speaking to him. I wouldn't trust your behind as far as I could throw you, Willie Norwood Jr. So let me know what y'all think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, you said plus all the baby oil. Okay, and they said there was some drugs up in there. Jaguar Wright was allowed to fabricate and outright lie on Piers Morgan. I think Miss Combs has responded to that. Oh, he probably, because I was wondering what all that was. Look, speaking of fabricating and spilling stuff, Usher's ex-wife came out and said something too. I call her Manika Forster. Even though she be hating on the gays and the trans, I mean, she be hating on the homosexuals because she did that on that horrible ass reality show. She was on that one and done reality show. That thing that Carlos King was put together that nobody watched. But yeah, but she goes on. That's said she goes on these white people things, and then the black folks get mad, and that's why I said, like, even whether or not she lied, it just irritates me how y'all don't say nothing when they go on Vlad. Y'all don't say nothing when she goes on them other shows like Tasha K and Storm Monroe or wherever else. But then the minute they cross over and go to the white people stations and it becomes national, then y'all want to get mad. Y'all need to have the same energy for everybody. What, normal baby oil? I can't even look at baby oil the same again. First of all, I don't use baby oil. I use cocoa butter. It's like if I need, like, who uses that much baby oil? Who puts baby oil on it? First of all, baby oil is slippery, it's shiny. The smell be getting on my nerves sometimes. So I'd rather just use cocoa butter. I like that because I could just rub it in and it lasts all day. Andrew Gillum seemed like the type I wouldn't be surprised if he was already there, especially, with how he was a Methodist. You know how them black queens like to party and play. My cousin said the new homosexual neighbors in her apartment building go at it hard. Oh, damn. Let me find out your they be hearing them clapping them cheeks. I forgot who it was, but they was talking about how one of my friends was talking about that he could hear his neighbor through the wall getting her cheeks clapped. And I wanted to ask so bad, I'm like, are we talking about an actual girl? Or are we talking like homosexual term? Was it girl? Miss Girl's in there getting her back blown out. Are we talking about a biological female, or are we talking about gays that we refer to in the she pronoun? That's what I be wanting to know. Cause them gays, I'm like, if we're gonna be in here hunching, first of all, I can't have the headboard hitting the wall, and number two, we need to soundproof this room, cause I don't need you screaming, and then people will be all up in there being nosy and stuff. Cause you know how the walls are in these apartment complexes. Okay, so let's go from one criminal to another and talk about R. Kelly and the fact that his ex-wife Drea Kelly is writing a book about some of the industry secrets, and it has some people giving her the side eye in some of the tea she's supposedly gonna be spilling. I don't know what she could spill, but apparently she's got some tea. She ain't spilled none of it when she was on that Hollywood Exes show. Remember that? That was around the time I will say I actually liked her when she was in that Hollywood Exes show. I liked her personality and what she was all about with that. It was Nicole Murphy was on the show, Maite Garcia. They had all the the ex-wives of a lot of celebrities, and I actually liked the show. But she really wasn't spilling no tea when she was on there. So now, despite being divorced from R. Kelly, the choreographer was dragged in the media circus surrounding his arrest. R. Kelly was convicted on multiple charges of child SA in 2022 and is currently serving 3 decades behind bars. Andrea Kelly was subject to a lot of slander and speculation, given that she was married to the singer for over a decade. She has decided to set the record straight, however. Andrea Kelly announced plans to publish a tell-all book about her life, and she's using R. Kelly and Diddy to promote it. The announcement came via Instagram. Andrea Kelly posted a video and narration and dramatic music. Under the Red Carpet is the name of the book, and the caption under the video provides more context. Kelly claims that she had gotten tired of the lies and is writing a book in order to disrupt the deception that has been going on. Furthermore, she posits that now is the time to speak without fear and take back control of the narrative. No more forcing a smile to get through the pain of being me. No more forcing a smile to get through the pain of being. Wait, why is that written twice in this article? But yeah, let me pull up her Instagram in case y'all have not seen it. And hold on, I was gonna make sure that it's muted because I don't want to play nothing in this whole thing that's gonna get me demonetized. But yeah, so here's the thing where she got like all the clips and stuff that she's using this as a way to promote the upcoming book. And I'm sitting there wondering, like, is she gonna be able to get away with that? So she wrote, "I am a beast and a butterfly. God said it is so." Did he? The time has come to disrupt the deception. For years, people have spoken on my life without knowing anything about me. How crazy is it to speak on someone you never met or had a conversation with as fact? Well, the time has come to speak without fear. No more forcing a smile to get through the pain of being me. No more be nice to please an unpleasant world. My book is going to set so many free, and if you have a problem, it is not with me. Take it up with God. This is his will, and it is so. Girl, is it really God's will, or is it that you looking for a payday or some coins? But let's get to the comments, because, one of the things we love on this show is when people go in and give their opinions about this. I'm going to get the ones that I got, and then I'm going to go into her comments and read what people had to say on the book. They also said the video includes several images and clips of Diddy, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Given how Diddy has become the focus of the biggest entertainment scandal of 2024, it would make sense because Diddy and R. Kelly rose to fame around the same time in the 90s, and R. Kelly was a frequent collaborator of Diddy's protege, the notorious B.I.G. Andrea Kelly doesn't mention Diddy by name in her narration, but the inclusion of his image feels very intentional. Well, yeah, and now it seems like, you're trying to make a little money off of the backs of these people, which that's what some people will look. Let's just read what the people had to say. So one person said, but still carries his last name to stay relevant. Drop the name and then it will make sense. Like, I can't. Another person said, as a DV survivor, you go, Drea. Mine was over 17 years ago. However, you still live with it in your head forever. Love you, Drea. So we're going to have the positives and the negatives. So another person said, I'm sure her book has nothing to do with money. It's called Freedom. Who cares about how long it took for her to write it? Sharing a testimony on abuse doesn't have an expiration date, and it definitely isn't easy. Releasing a book takes courage, and I commend her for her bravery. I hope it will inspire many. And that's another thing, too, is that when some people say, like, it's called Freedom, who cares how long it took for her to write it? It's the same thing when people try to tell you when somebody in your past passed away, that, oh, you need to get over it. And it's like, how you going to tell somebody to get over a death? Like, who are you to give any kind of expiration date on anything? Like, it's not your place to do that, in my opinion. Okay, so now we'll just use the neighborhood talk one in the background and leave that up there for a minute. Another person said, it is not a coincidence, I'm going to say it like Nene Leakes, a coincidence that two of his children and his ex-wife have something to say knowing his appeal was Monday. No one came to court, was radio silent, and had no information for the feds. Now they want to chirp to the public for a price. I am not supporting or buying. Well, I didn't know that that there was an appeal on Monday. Was that Monday pass? Because I don't know what in regards to, look, I'm not following R.Kelly like that to know the exact timeline of all of this stuff. So I'm just going by what the people saying in the comments. Another person, I'm so sick of her. He's in jail. What else does she want? Whatever do you want from me? In the words of Clarice, him sentenced to death. Well, look, he ain't getting out of prison. And like I said, she has a right to, I guess, speak her piece. Because Drea's never really said her side of the story. But if this is what she's going to do when people are going to watch it or read the book, that's what the freedom of choice is about. You can either read the book or you don't. You can either watch the documentary that they have coming out with her and her children are speaking out about R. Kelly and the aftermath and what they've had to deal with post his prison sentence and things of that nature. You can watch it. Or you can buy the book or don't. That's the good thing about freedom of will. Is that you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Another person said, everybody trying to get paid. She should have did that during the era of R. Kelly. But like we already said, like you can never tell somebody how long for them to grieve or write a book, whatever the case is. Another person said, I would never like Drea. I don't care what nobody says. She knew what was going on and she needed to be locked up too. What exactly is going to be in this tell-all book? Drea needs a seat in prison. Well, look, when y'all going around saying all that, do you have proof that she may have, known what was going on in the situation with R. Kelly? We don't necessarily know how much she knew, but I'm sure, but look, a lot of people say that she was aware that he was sleeping with Aaliyah when they was married. So, oh my God, I think I actually closed by accident her Instagram page because I was like, oh, I'm done, but I didn't read the comments in there. So someone said something about the ex-wife, Drea Kelly, just doesn't sit right with me. You just announced that you are dropping a tell-all book, Suspect, especially with Diddy making headlines over his own drama. I always felt like you might have played a role in some of what went down with R. Kelly, even if it was just turning a blind eye. And if I'm being honest, this book feels like a money grab and clout-chasing move. You and your daughter need therapy. Go heal and stop using God in your mess. Well, first of all, I need y'all to stop using God in everything that y'all talk about, even if it wasn't about this whole thing where y'all try to use, oh, take it up with God. Like I hate when a lot of y'all do that. Because first of all, that's that old slave religion mess that the white man put upon y'all. If y'all really want to get into it about religion and things. But this seems to be the ongoing question. Why now? Why didn't you talk about it back then? And then they go, yet you kept his last name. So you pretty much are co-signing with the mess. And she probably felt like, you know what? As Drea Kelly, maybe it's the fact that her being attached to that, her claim to fame is hooking up, being R. Kelly's wife. And then I seen that story that came out that I didn't even know this. She was apparently messing with one of the members of the Creep Squad. That apparently she's been in a relationship with Cisco from freaking Love and Hip Hop. And if y'all know about the Creep Squad, y'all know who I'm talking about. So they was about Drea messing with him. So maybe she just has the worst. She's the worst at when it comes to the type of men she gets in relationships with. But to be honest, I'm gonna tell you this: I don't care enough about the book. I'm not gonna read it. But sis, if this is what you want to do, if this is a part of your ministry, and this is what God commanded you to do, then okay, you need to use God, as a lot of y'all do, to weaponize and make excuses and hide behind a lot of your rhetoric and your BS. You go ahead and do that. But for me personally, I could care less about this book. I don't even think I care enough about watching that documentary that the daughter has coming out and she's about to be a part of. Like, I don't care about this. We already know what R. Kelly did. He's in jail. He ain't getting out. So y'all can keep trying to repeal whatever he got going on. He gonna spend the rest of his life behind bars. So y'all can do whatever y'all want and try to find ways to continue to monetize, whatever this is of being married to R. Kelly. If that's what you need to do to fatten up, to pay your bills, then you go ahead and do that. But me personally, I don't care enough about the book to buy it, and I'm not going to support it. But my question is for you all: what do y'all think of this? Do y'all care about this Drea book? Are y'all going to actually go out and buy it and support it, or whatever the case was? Or do you not care? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so you said, not Drew Kelly looks like a man. She was R. Kelly's beard for so long, and now she want to get paid for all those. It seems wrong to have Kelly locked up. No, he, like Diddy, is exactly where they need to be. After all these years of the things he did to people, and it took y'all long enough to realize that, especially when a lot of people co-signed on a lot of the stuff that R. Kelly was doing. We knew about the tape where he peed on that little girl, Sparkle's niece. All that stuff came out, and people still looked the other way. But anyway, let's move on. And a story that nobody's no longer looking away from and might get retried, and they'll probably be able to get out. Let's talk about the Menendez brothers, which we've been talking a lot about lately. Speaking of which, I need to watch that Aaron Hernandez series. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. I keep meaning to get around to it, but when it's Halloween season, I like to engulf a lot of horror stuff. And also, what I've noticed is, not noticed, but I actually started watching that Grotesquerie show. Outside of, I've watched the first 2 episodes. Outside of Niecy Nash's performance, which I'm living for, and I don't know why y'all got that fat girl that's playing her daughter sitting up in there. Like, it's giving me Lee Daniels tease with the way they shooting this girl. It's like, you got her up there fat, looking like veins all in her gut, shirt short, like her clothes don't fit. I'm like, what are y'all doing? I feel like the grotesquerie thing is this like a code for like overconsumption of things? Like, the mother's an alcoholic, the father had a sex addiction, the daughter is a foodie, she has a food addiction. So is that what the grotesquerie thing is about? 7 deadly like sins or whatever? Like, it's kind of giving what is that movie? Like 7? Like, it's kind of giving that vibe with a little Silence of the Lambs. But I will say this, outside of Niecy Nash's performance, this show was boring. No shade. But just saying, like, here we go yet again, Ryan Murphy trying to do horror, and it's just not giving me what I need. I just don't think he understands the genre. And needs to just not write the script to partake. But so far, I'm not impressed. But I'm going to give it a little chance, because I need to see how Travis Kelce's acting is. Which there was a rumor that came out that he and Taylor Swift got married. I'm like, who is spreading these lies? That was like, oh, it's on Facebook. Everything on Facebook ain't fact. But unless the big media conglomerates are talking about it, we'll talk about it here. But since we're talking about Ryan Murphy, let's talk about his other thing, which was the Menendez brother, story that came out and got a lot of people talking, including Rosie O'Donnell, who has kept in contact with the Menendez brothers for over 3 decades. And she did a recent interview where she was spilling some tea in regards to it. and even gave her thoughts on the series. So she has called the re-examination of the evidence in Lala and Menendez's case as she weighed in on the campaign to free them. Now, she says that she received a letter from La Menendez about 30 years ago after he saw her on Larry King Live, saying that she believed Eric's claims that they were molested by their father. So she's been saying this from the beginning. And as someone who I believe Rosie O'Donnell is a victim of sex abuse as a child, I believe she was abused. And the thing that she went through, I think she would know that she understands the signs. So Rosie O'Donnell said that she believed Eric's claim that they were molested by their father. She says, I was out to lunch with Barbara Walters and our publicist, Cindy Berger. And I said, Barbara, you're not going to believe this, but guess who wrote me? La Menendez. This is what she recalls. Barbara said, ignore him. He's a murderer. He's very cunning. This is why I was like, child, we go back and look at Barbara Walters' interviews. People found her stuff to be problematic. Even Diane Sawyer. This is why we gotta let the past stay where it's at and not try to put a 2024 mindset on a lot of the other stuff, because that was the mindset by the, oh, he's very charismatic, he's very cunning, he's gonna trick you, he's gonna make you think that, oh, you're the prettiest girl in the world, but he's got ulterior motives. Now, Waters had previously interviewed Lyle and his brother Eric in prison for 2020. O'Donnell followed her advice, but 2 years ago, when a documentary was released that featured new evidence that Lyle and Eric were molested by their father, and that was the one that we was talking about with Menudo, O'Donnell spoke out in support of his siblings on social media and in the press, saying, I got a call from Lyle's wife. I didn't even know he had a wife, asking if I would talk to him. This is what she said. He called me on Mother's Day last year. Lyle and Eric are currently serving 2 life sentences, by the way, without the possibility of parole for the murder of their parents, Jose and Kitty, in 1989. O'Donnell and Lyle became fast friends, saying, we talk a lot. I told him I would do what I could with whatever's dwindling fame I have to bring light to their story. I said, it's not the 90s, Lyle. I'm not on that show anymore. I think if you feel strongly about something and you want to try to help society, you can use your voice, because the children who are abused in their homes don't have a voice. It's up to the adults who were once those children to speak for them. And I think this is the ultimate line that I'm living for her saying, which is why a lot of people say, well, why didn't so-and-so speak up sooner? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? And then you have someone, like, I always truly believe in being the voice of the voiceless and having that moment of being like, you know what? Those kids are afraid to speak. Those people do not have a voice where people are going to actually listen to them. So me as a celebrity, if I speak on their behalf, then y'all will listen. Because the reality is, y'all will listen to a celebrity before y'all listen to any damn body else, which is unfortunate. That a lot of times, Taylor Swift got to tell y'all, or this is why a lot of these people get mad. Oh, but y'all, when it comes to celebrities speaking out, because it's like y'all don't listen to anybody else. Sometimes the celebrities got to come out and endorse or give their voice or speak on the person's behalf for y'all to hear it, whether it's in politics or whether it's in anything else, regarding even in this type of situation. So O'Donnell becomes emotional during the meeting about meeting Lyle last year when she made a trip to see him in prison in San Diego, saying, I saw Lyle and gave him a hug. She says, choking back tears. Then Eric came over to me, hugged me, and whispered in my ear, thank you for loving my brother. It was very, very moving to me. I caught up with, well, they're basically saying that in the interview. Not I caught up, because I don't know Rosie O'Donnell, but Variety caught up with O'Donnell a day after it was announced that the court hearing has been set for Eric and Lyle, as Los Angeles DA George Gascon considers new evidence that they were allegedly molested by their father. At the same time, Ryan Murphy's Netflix series Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story continues to bring renewed interest in the case. So they asked her what was her reaction when she heard about the DA in the new court hearing. She said, I got a little bit of a heads up from the guys and their lawyers, so I knew it was coming. I was beyond excited. I knew that from having spoken to them that they were afraid to hope it could be, she said that they were both afraid to hope it would, okay, y'all need to proofread this. They were afraid that it could be exactly what it turned out to be. Now, as soon as the news dropped, I sent them a text and said, it's really happening. Wait, they got a phone? Look at me, micro, going like I'm reading too much into this. Anyway, let me finish. So it's really happening now. Put that smile on your face. Here we go. This is what they've been waiting for so many decades, and it's about time. I think that we, as a society, it's time that we said we made a mistake and we didn't understand what we understand today. It's kind of a miracle, but so deserving. I'm so thrilled for them. And then they asked her when was the last time they spoke to Lyle, and according since the article that they did, she said last night. They asked how they were they doing. She said they're excited. They're happy. I came in 2 years ago as a cheerleader. I told them then, you're going to get out of here. They didn't really believe me, but I believe that the wrong will be righted. They're still reticent to believe it's going to happen. Now, nobody is discounting the fact they did what they did to their parents. But the fact of the matter was, when you're young and your frontal lobe has not fully developed, which is 25 for men, you feel like the only way that you have an out is to escape all the abuse. You take out the father, and then the mother you put out of her misery because she looked the other way. Allegedly, they were saying she knew what was going on in the house. But of course, when you are the wife of a man with a lot of money, a lot of power, a lot of influence in the industry, you're going to look the other way. You should go in and be the mama bear and protect your kids from the abuser. But according to them, it's like she was drowning her sorrows in alcohol, and she looked the other way while the father was diddling with his sons and other people's sons too, because the story came out about one of the members of Menudo said that he was R-worded by Jose Menendez because they were going into this meeting to try to secure a deal for Menudo with the record label. And Jose had a little influence and power trying to get that connection and making it happen. He allegedly SA'd one of the members of Menudo, and they came out and revealed it in the documentary. Because I watched the Menudo documentary that came out 2 years ago. Of course, the one that Ricky Martin decided not to partake in, because he's the most famous one to come out of that group. But shout out to Robbie Draco Rosa and all the rest of them. That was a part of it, because, they had the revolving door. So they also said, when do you think that they will be released? She said sooner than later. Now, she also said this. Ryan Murphy told me yesterday that he thinks they could be out by Christmas. I can't believe Ryan Murphy is windmilling hard for them, especially when he was going around with that ego of his, talking about, well, they need to be thanking me or whatever, sending me flowers for bringing attention. Excuse me. And you know what? I'm glad that he brought attention to this case, but I don't think that he expected all the what happened to be happening the way it is. But let's not toot our own horns quickly, sir. Relax. She also said that they also asked her if she had become a surrogate mother. She said more of a big sister. And how Lyle is one of the most lauded prisoners in California prison system. You can't ignore that. If he was sort of a psycho who was screaming at everyone and a maniac, would he have done hospice for the dying prisoners? Would he have done all the things that he did that allowed him to finally get moved from San Francisco down to his brother, because he had 10 years straight without one infraction. No one can master mental illness that much in 35 years. To be the extraordinary inmates that they both are is pretty damning testimony as well. Which goes to show, we haven't heard anything about Lyle and Eric in prison doing anything bad. So if this was true, then why is it that they're still, that they moved the brother, but they found like a meeting ago? Because they were separated when they were moved to different prisons. And then he was recently, years later, years ago, I think it was what they said, 10 years, that he was moved to be in the same facility as his brother. They also asked about the impact that Kim Kardashian, has had in regards of her advocating for them. Because remember, we talked about on the show that she did visit them behind bars, along with one of the actors that played Eric in the Monster series. He also went to go visit, I believe, Eric Menendez in prison. I don't remember if he visited both of them, but I know he visited one of them. And so she said, I think it's fantastic. She's one of the most famous people in the world, and she demands a crazy amount of media attention. I've never met her. I don't know her. I think it's great that she champions some causes the way she does, and more people should do that when they believe in something. I think she has helped the district attorney come to this conclusion. There have been many postponements since they put this in over a year. They've had a folder and all the evidence or all the facts for a year, but it wasn't until after Ryan Murphy and Kim Kardashian, to give them both credit in whatever way they want, that it happened, which is crazy how, like I said, it takes celebrities for a lot of y'all to wake up and do what needs to be done, which is pathetic in my opinion. Why is it that it got to take a Kim Kardashian or Ryan Murphy or somebody, whoever is famous, for y'all to all of a sudden listen to us? Why do celebrities have the influence to make things happen? Which is why I think the lines blur when it comes to celebrities and politics. Because it shouldn't be like that. If you've spent years trying to be a part of the legal system, they should be the ones that's trying to get these things forward. Not a celebrity has to come in and bring attention so that, and then y'all decide to listen to it because it may, I guess, bring in numbers or make you look cool or whatever the case is. It's always about the clout, not on the Kim and them part, but for these other people. It's like y'all get to benefit from the fact of this. Oh yeah, we'll move it forward because then it brings attention to us and that sort of thing. So I don't like that angle of it. But yeah, I guess we could give them the credit in a way of like helping move the needle a little bit. So, but then where was the other thing where they also said in regards to that? So they said if they wanted me there, well, they said if they are released, will you be waiting outside in the prison for them? But they said like if they want them there, then that's fine. She also said that she really would have liked Ryan Murphy's series to be a little more realistic in regards to like not be paraphrasing and making and throwing things up in there. She would have liked the series to be a little more accurate in regards of what we saw on the screen, which I do agree with, because there was but I understand there was like theories that they were throwing in based off of what Dominic Dunn said and what this person said. So they were pulling all this information from so many other people's books and documentaries and interviews and all other stuff. And they were kind of trying to just throw all that in there and giving it kind of a what if type situation. So that when we were watching it, we're like, oh, so do you think this is true? Do you think this might not be true? Whatever. So there was that. But for the most part, it's like, I didn't like the fact that y'all were throwing all these scenarios in, because it did confuse the audience into thinking that, oh yeah, so this stuff did happen. Because when you're throwing in a scenario that Dominic Dunn believed that they had an incestuous relationship, when I don't think that they did. I do believe the abuse from the father, but I do not believe they had an incestuous relationship. Dominic Dunn threw that in there, but the way that it was shot and executed on the show, it seemed like y'all were just, a lot of people didn't get that part, that it was a theory that Dominic Dunn ran with. Rather, it just being like, it felt like it was just a scene put in that I guess would have gotten people's penises jumping. Like they would get off on two hot guys kissing and taking a shower together. That's supposed to be related. Like, I don't get it. But I still the same. What do y'all think of this story? Do you think that the Menendez brothers has a chance to get out of jail? I mean, look, they did their time. They've been in jail for over 3 decades. I do feel like that they were hurt due to the times in the 90s where it was homophobia. There was also, especially the theory of Eric being gay. That was a theory that was played in the movie as well. So homophobia was prominent in the 90s. Then we also had, the fact of there were so many things going on. They felt like somebody had to pay for the crimes, especially in LA. We had the Rodney King riots. You had O.J. Simpson in that trial. Then you had the Menendez brothers and what was going on with them. It was too much going on in LA at that time, from what, based off history that I can remember. And so there was a lot of that. So they felt like somebody's head had to roll. We can't just keep giving not guilties and people getting away with things. Somebody's got to fry for this. So I do feel like they made an example out of them after the hung jury and everything. And now with all the evidence, oh no, they could possibly molest boys. Why would they do that? Boys supposed to be strong and girls are the weak ones. So now we're starting to see, like, over the years that yes, it is possible that boys too can be abused. I don't know where, and people bite minds that boys can't be abused, but that was the mindset in those days. But I'm glad that, with all this stuff going on and that how the times have changed and how we've progressed in over 30 years, that they're finally going to have their voices heard, and then it'll be time served and they can finally get out and they'll have to figure out what they're going to do. Now, y'all need to stay away from shotguns after this. Leave them shotguns alone. But I started to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Who child? Okay, so now, He's my R. Kelly's probably in the tapes with Diddy. I wouldn't be surprised if he is. Because based off of his sexual appetite, I would not be surprised if he attended many a freak off. They added the new Menendez, but thank you, because I was like, I was wondering if they had released it. I know I got an alert that it was coming out, but I think it was yesterday and I forgot. So it might be out today. I mean, since you said it's out today, I'm gonna see if I have the time that I'm gonna check it out. But yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can, because I'm not gonna be able to come on and I want to try to see if I can squeeze in doing the show, because tomorrow Wednesday I'm gonna be busy. The Mets have their playoffs or World Series, whatever you want to call it, and I gotta work that. So I ain't gonna be able to give y'all a show tomorrow like regular, but I definitely want to check this out. I'm gonna try to see if I can squeeze it in. Not Ricky Gervais. I believe it too. I believe she did it. Just the same thing like with Janice Combs. I do believe that she knew a lot was going on with her son and looked the other way because of the times. You know, a lot of times women did and still do look the other way when it comes to, the men, because the man is considered the dominant sex. I also watched a documentary on Max called Monsters or Miss I saw that was up there too. I did save that in my queue. Speaking of which, I gotta watch the new episode of Penguin. Damn, there's a lot of stuff I gotta watch. He said Lila and Eric were separated for over 20. Yeah, they got separated, and then they got separated for 20 years. And then they said in the last decade, he was moved to the same prison that his brother was in. So I was glad that they had that. And it would have been nice if they would have highlighted that in the movie, in the series, instead of giving us that Fast and the Furious ending, with Dom Toretto and the other one that died in real life, Paul Walker, where they had them go separate ways and they had that music come on. That stupid song. And then they go their separate ways on the road. When they did that scene, or the scene from the Batman, when you had Batman go one way and Catwoman go the other way on their motorcycles, that iconic scene. So they could have brought that up in the end instead of just giving the end that they gave, but whatever. I guess it worked for cinematic purposes. They didn't see each other from 1996 to 2018, and that was best of that they did that, but I'm glad they're back together. That, and when boys get molested, they're afraid of not being believed, which usually they are. Absolutely, because we've heard so many stories about it. And then on top of that, like I told y'all, there was an interview that I had saw with Matt Cullen that recently did, where he went and did the hot dog party that's out in LA. Mario Diaz, who used to do the cock parties in New York eons ago, he has a party out in LA and stuff, and he interviewed him, he interviewed the whole thing. The hot dog party, all he does, all that stuff. There's also a documentary on Mario Diaz that's out there. I forget what channel it's on, but it's out there if y'all look for it. Also, he interviewed this adult film star and a go-go boy called Zaddy, who's Latino, a little, he's like a thick bearish type with a lot of meat between me down there, if you know what I'm saying. I think you do. But anyway, he interviewed him and he talked about basically, and this reminds me of this, which is, I'm going to bring it home, how he was in a relationship with a guy. The guy was abusive towards him. Out of nowhere, just started pummeling him and whatever, all this other stuff. Filed charges. The police, were homophobic, made fun of him, all this other stuff, because he got into a domestic dispute with his partner, his male partner. And the way that the police and everything, they handle domestic violence situations, especially between same-sex couples, especially if it's men, because sexual, abuse does happen in relationships between men. I don't know why people act like it's men always beating on women, but same-sex couples go through it too. And so when you have that, and then you have boys out here being SA'd by someone, be it their parent or a neighbor or whatever, they're not believed. And we need to change that narrative, and we need to put things in place that protect these kids. This is why I truly believe police officers, y'all need to take a criminal justice class. Like, y'all need to be doing all that. Y'all shouldn't just be taking a damn test and then you get your license, or you go to school and you graduate and then that's it. There needs to be criminal justice courses put in place, sociology, so that way you understand how to handle a lot of situations, especially when it comes to abuse, mental health, all that. Like, y'all need to have that kind of thing as well, not just be getting your little, your gun and your nightstick and your flashlight and your uniform and thinking that should be enough. But anyway, so we got 3 more topics left, and if you have not already, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, also smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Now, without further ado, let's get into this Luke Bryan story, because the BeyHive, as I knew would happen, went in on him over the comments that he recently made about why Beyoncé did not get any country music awards. Basically saying that, you know what, she should have come to the award show and hung out with us because we're like a family. You need to high five us and, mingle and all that other stuff if you want to win a country music award or the all that other stuff. Just all the awards. There was one reason that came out that she was nominated 17 times for it, walked away with none. I don't think she was there. But why sit in the audience and be humiliated? But then in the last episode that we talked about all of this, a lot of people point out some things, and I was hoping that I reiterated and brought enough of that home. But I'm glad that a lot of people came in and chimed in and said, but you want her to jump through hoops to come and get accepted in your country music space. But did you have Post Malone jump through hoops when y'all invited him into your country music space? Because it wasn't that long ago he was running around in the hip hop space. And because he couldn't hack it there, then he came over to the country and was able to bring in the hip hop element, the country music, all the other stuff. He's getting invited to perform with Jelly Roll. He's found a whole lot of success in that space after he didn't necessarily, he tried to get invited. He got invited to the cookout. He did a little tap dance, and it wasn't working. So now he went over back to his people. Same thing with Nicole Kidman's husband, Keith Urban. He's a whole Australian, but the minute he started doing country music, y'all welcomed him with open arms. And also, let's not forget Shania Twain, because Shania Twain is from Canada. She ain't even from America. But y'all allowed her to come up in here and infiltrate the country music space. So why is it that when it comes to Beyonce, she got to tap dance, she got to go do cartwheels, she got to juggle, she got to do a whole bunch of stuff so that way she could possibly walk away with a country music award? So the musician who's 48 ruffled feathers when he revealed he wanted Beyonce, who's 43, to get in the family of country music after she failed to receive a single nomination at the awards during an appearance on Andy Cohen Live on Sirius XM last Monday. Now Bryan has taken to Twitter to clarify his remarks, saying he wants everyone to win and loves Beyonce. Chad, don't give me that. The first answer was your actual answer. But now we got to come in here and now we got to clean it up, because the BeyHive came and swarmed, which you knew was going to happen. Because regardless of what you say, the BeyHive is going to come in with the bees and start swarming. So he wrote, hey y'all, because we got to get country with it. I'm wrapping up the last night of my tour tonight, because he had to let y'all know he out on tour, making his money. And it's been an amazing time. For that, I'm thankful. I'm posting tonight based on the ridiculous nature of the headlines I've read the last couple of days from an interview on the Andy Cohen show I did this week when I was promoting my album. Saying he wanted to stop a false narrative, he added, "You will hear my tone and intentions when we're not negative. Which were not negative. I respect Beyonce and I love how loyal her fans are. I spend a lot of time supporting other artists. I want everyone to win. Love y'all." Now, Beyonce also went winless amid 12 nominations at the People's Choice Country Awards last week. That's what I was thinking about. Now, he said on Monday, it's a tricky question because obviously Beyonce made a country album and Beyonce has a lot of fans out there that have her back. And if she doesn't get something they want, man, they come at you as fans should do. And when he said what he said, I don't think there was any negativity in what he said. But him being white, of course, he's got the racial blind spot. So, yeah, maybe in his mind, he's thinking these are the precautions and things you have to do if you want to get accepted in our space. You got to be able to politic. You got to be able to do those things, which I've said on this show when it comes to a lot of these award shows. You got to do that with the Grammys. You got to get up in there and kiss babies and shake hands and all the other stuff. You're always constantly having to prove yourself and pay your dues. She has paid her dues in other places as a musician. However, when you're coming in new territory, yes, it's true. You have to come into our place and hang out with us and shake hands and kiss the babies and do all other stuff. But we also cannot disregard the reason why she made Cowboy Carter in the first place. Because when she went to the CMAs, the way y'all treated her, when she got up there and performed with the chicks and did daddy lessons. Why? What is she doing here? Y'all didn't want her up in there. Not you, but I'm talking about there were people in that room that probably didn't want her up in there. Also, there were people that were online and social media who started spewing their hatred and bigotry and their racist undertone, overtone, and the tone. All the tones. So there was a lot of that. So she created Cowboy Carter to kind of give you the finger to the people in that space as I'm going to educate y'all on the history of country, but I'm also going to record this album because y'all said I couldn't do something. I'm going to do it to prove y'all wrong. So we got all the reasons and the nuances, but I think Luke Bryan being a country act, he's not looking at all that other stuff, which is why I bring in the racial blind spot that a lot of white folks have because they don't, and also you're a white male, so you don't have to work as hard as a woman would, particularly a black woman would have to come in certain spaces. So I think a lot of times you have to be aware, and it's crazy how like those of us who are people of color, we have to look and see all the little things that a lot of other people don't really have to pay attention to because they don't have to struggle as hard. They don't have to deal with all those things that a person of color would, or a woman who happens to be a person of color would have to go through to be accepted in a lot of those spaces. So he's got to keep that in mind as well. So, but I didn't see what he said was bad. But a lot of people jumped on social media and started with the stuff. But yeah, I think he needs to look at all those situations to be able to understand. And you going on Andy Cohen's show just because he likes to stick his peen in black booty don't necessarily mean he's going to be able to understand as well. So he wasn't the right spot for you to go on to even have this, to even give this question or answer his question in regards to the whole Beyonce thing. I think if he went on a Black Queen show, if you would have went on Don Lemon's show, who is black and a fan of country music and a homosexual, he probably would have been able to point out all of these things because he gets it. Andy Cohen ain't getting that. So I don't think I have any more to add to this story. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Did y'all get what Luke Bryan was saying? I believe that I got what he was saying, but I had to point out the different sides of the things. Now, everybody can run around and talk about how they don't think this is a country album or all this other stuff. You know, that's up for interpretation. What y'all think that, what do you define as country? Because there was comments, you know, some people said, watch her take that country album of the year award at the Grammys, I guess. And some people saying that they hope she brings the win for the amazing album and all this other stuff. But then we had the haters who went in and said, not a country album, just cosplaying as one. And then some people saying Jay-Z buying them awards as usual. We all know he can't buy the real CMA. So everybody's going to have their thing and everybody's going to say what they want to say. And you know what? Music, like I said, art, music, it's all subjective. So people, you can say whatever it is, you feel like it's a country album, it's not country enough. But there have been people that have won awards on less things. Even though it's like, did they really deserve it or whatever the case was? That's neither here nor there. But I guess it is what it is. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to this whole situation? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so Felix says Beyonce is so used to winning awards, she seems to, and I think there's also that as well, that she probably doesn't act, because I'm Beyonce, I'm gonna win this award. I don't know why I was thinking. I know why I was thinking. I was thinking of Bianca Del Rio, but I said, oh, she's Beyonce, because remember when she did that to Trinity K. Bonet on her season of Drag Race? That's what it was reminding me of when I said that. But yeah, that's like, okay, sis, but you may be Beyonce in other places, but in here, you just a regular girl from Houston, Texas, that's trying to get in here and do that. So I can understand trying to come in and do certain things. But yeah, you gotta work. You gotta put in that extra work. But on the other hand, she probably feels like, why should I when y'all treated me the way that y'all treated me? I don't go where I'm not wanted, as I like to say. Well, like I saw a clip of when Amy Winehouse won her Grammy and all the dirty looks she got from her. Oh yeah, because it's like, how's she up in here winning, doing our black music? And shout out to Mark Ronson, who I actually saw on Saturday. He was DJing the Vampire Weekend show. And he came into the mix. And of course, he put on Amy Winehouse. And I was expecting, I was like, what song he about to play? Of course, he put on Valerie. Had everybody in there singing. Amy was genuinely shocked by the audience reaction. But yeah, but then again, is it her fault, or do we blame the industry that continues to give awards to white artists for doing black music? But then when the shoe was on the other foot, where country, yes, we know the root of it comes from black artists, but the genre has been dominated by white people. But why is it that we got to jump through hoops in this whole situation? But then when it comes to white artists coming in doing black music, they're instantly rewarded. Like a Amy Winehouse or an Adele or a Justin Timberlake or something like, or Robin Thicke or something like that. But y'all just ignore the people that actually been putting those roots in. You allow white people to come in and do other genres and sounds, and we're okay with it. We would create a whole genre, blue-eyed soul. But the minute black people try to do other things, oh no, black people can't be pop stars. Black people can't be country music stars. Black people gotta stick to the rivers and lakes. We want them doing R&B. First of all, R&B ain't what it used to be. I mean, what it is anymore. Back in the day, in the 90s, I was getting my life with the R&B songs. 80s, getting my life, listening to all that music. But now, even in the 2000s, R&B was lit. But this shit, y'all this snooze fest music y'all got with these Summer Walkers and these scissors and stuff, y'all putting me to sleep with this damn music. The Normanis, the Chloe Baileys. I'm like, what is this? This is not R&B. Y'all need to give me my girls, Jasmine Sullivan. I need my Brandy. I need my Monica. Like, I need that type stuff. I don't want this crap that y'all giving now. I live for Jasmine Sullivan, by the way. But anyway, so he said, calm down, Beyonce. Okay. Okay, so now we got 2 more topics. And then we are out of here with today's show. Let's get into this Melania story. Now, I didn't even know all this drama was going on, because I have to say, the Drag Race season so far, I have been so bored. This show was so terrible that I didn't even know that all this drama was going on behind the scenes. So it says the first ever edition of RuPaul's Drag Race Global All-Stars has been, well, chaotic and terrible. Let's just say that. I wouldn't say chaotic. There's got to be another word for it. Lackluster, underwhelming. Nobody came into work. RuPaul's looks like he's just as bored as we are. Like, do I need to go on with how I feel about this show? Because I didn't even know that there was, any all this behind the scenes. First of all, I didn't even know there was an Untucked. I think I've just been so repulsed by this season that I just didn't care to watch Untucked. And then on top of that, oh, I know why. Because usually when it comes to Untucked, regular seasons of Untucked, I'm bored. Like, nobody really wants to give what I used to get from the logo version of Untucked. When they first started doing it, we was getting the drama. I was living for the drama in the, backstage while the judges were deliberating. Now everybody want to be best friends and kumbaya and roast marshmallows over an open fire. And it's like, go bore me somewhere else. I don't need this boring sisterhood crap. I want drama. Because that's what y'all give on this show. If y'all feeling the way about some stuff, y'all need to speak out on it and stop allowing these fans on social media with their stupid bully crap on the internet to scare y'all from really giving a TV show. What we want out of our TV shows, I should say. So the series was started off with a RuPaul's Best Friends Race energy. Well, we still getting that shit. That's what I don't like about Untucked. Brought together 12 queens from different countries. Not all of them, because nobody from Drag Race España is on here. And they should be. Where's Poopy Poison? She should be on there. Who had previously competed in international Drag Race seasons. Global All-Stars also premiered right after the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, which meant the viewers quickly embraced the idea of queens coming together while respectfully and fairly competing against one another. Sometimes, however, what you want to do isn't exactly what you're gonna do, in the words of Gia Gunn. As of episode 9, Global All-Stars had a bona fide drag race feud involving Queen Kong from Drag Race Down Under Season 2 and Kitty Scott Claus, RuPaul's Drag Race UK Season 3. Sidebar, have y'all seen the recent pictures of Kitty Scott Claus? She was at the red carpet out of drag for Heartstopper Season 3. Miss Mama's a snatched, and you know, a lot of people run out here saying she on that Ozempic. That seems to be y'all go-to with everything, but I would not be surprised if she was using that. So they basically said that there was a feud against Queen Kong and Kitty Scott Claus against Nelania, and the fandom is losing its collective mind. But why does it seem like more people are going after Queen Kong instead of Kitty Scott Claus? Is it because Kitty's white? Because y'all do that. A lot of times, I don't want to play the race card, but I feel like a lot of y'all do that. Y'all tend to go after the black queen for being more aggressive in her tone and some of the stuff she says that y'all consider shade, which I wasn't paying attention. Like I said, this season's been so horrible for me that I really haven't been paying attention to all the other. So it's just been on as background noise. I'll glance up and watch some stuff, but for the most part, it's been background noise. So they said following episode 9, Nelania did a live stream to share a few claims about what supposedly happened behind the scenes of All Stars, and a clip of that live stream has been reshared on the RuPaul's Drag Race subreddit. In the video, Nelania is shown as saying, during the attack, I don't have any problem to say it. I told production, for me, it's too much. This is bullying. She needs to be disqualified for that. But they said it wasn't bullying. She just exposed her opinion. But yeah, it was the only time that I used that word bullying during the recording. Just the episode, I use it. Well, maybe she's lost in translation because she's Italian. But sis, y'all ask people to come on social media and give their opinion on things. And for you to sit up in here and say that it was bullying or whatever the case is, I don't think that's what the meaning of bullying is. Like, you don't get to go on and be like, oh, well, she's picking on me and bullying me. And it's like, it's an opinion. People are allowed to give their opinion on these shows. It's like you have a thick skin and you don't. There is a difference with what real bullying and bigotry is. If she done cussed you out and called you all kinds of racial epithets or threatened to beat your behind or whatever the case is, then you can do that. But anyway, let me share the clip of y'all of, what she had to say.
Me and other girls of the season have that. I really say that. I can I don't have problem to say. I say to some of the production, say, for me it's too much. This is bully. She needs to be disqualified for that. But they say it's not bullying. She just she just exposed her opinion. But yeah, it was the only time that I used that word during all the recording. Just in this episode, I use it.
Well, the people in the comments was like, they don't think that she gonna win. I'm like, so who gonna win? Y'all think Alyssa Edwards gonna win, or are they gonna give it to Kitty Scott Claus? But anyway, so after that, Queen Kong did take to her to social media and posted the following. Hold on, let me post this picture instead. Because the shade in this picture is a cackle. So she said, I had to pray on this past few days because I don't usually give into things being said online. But there is a lot of accusations going around based on what Nelania is saying happened off camera. This is now impacting my reputation and the way I support and provide for my family. Please stop with the exaggerated stories. A fight that almost got physical outside the studio that producers intervene in off camera. This is ridiculous. Alyssa is my sister, and like true queens, we have an understanding of each other based on where we come from and what we are about. We know how to address each other and to deal with our business, and our was put in capital letters, with love and respect, which is why we have the relationship like we do to this day. Everything we discussed in our discussion together happened in the workroom while still on camera and fully mic'd. If it is what you say, they have no problem showing all the things said to make TV, and this would be no different. It's unfair to implicate both of us over something you were not a part of. The irony here is, if we're going to talk off camera, you know exactly why I came for you so harsh and untucked. When Athena said that me and Soa have the best family resemblance, you know exactly what you said to Soa that upset her and the reason that I came for you. You said, but Soa, how do you feel that RuPaul only sees you as a superstar because you look like Queen Kong? That upset Soa to the point that she didn't say anything. This is why I came in so hot. My delivery might have been harsh. What I said was meant, but what I would never come at someone unwarranted. I've never been that girl. And she probably was like, oh, well, now Soa the Muse is not going to come in and throw shade because she's not that girl. She's probably someone that internalizes things and probably has to take a moment to really think about it. Because I'm like that too. Like a lot of times I internalize things and take a second and I'm like, did this bitch just say what I think she said? And once I've internalized it and broke it on down and put it back together, then I come for your ass and cuss you out. So that's probably why Queen came out and said what she said, because Soa not gonna say nothing, but now I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna cuss her behind down to the ground. And of course that makes for good TV. So they're gonna go in and run with that narrative. She also wrote a second part, and let's get to that. She said, you and I both know after the situation, I apologize profusely for taking your shade, going below the belt and tarnishing your moment, throwing around the word bully, accusing me of these horrible things off camera and admitting you set a production and removed me from the competition because of what you speculate happened is so malicious and underhanded. To get on live and push rumors that are exaggerating facts to make me sound like a monster is reckless and borderline defamation. I worked hard, stood my ground in situations, spoke with my chest, and made TV representing the girls I represent. The ones you were trying to villainize that have a reason to be tough, that come from cultures and worlds that have to learn how to fight because of where we come from and what we have to deal with within our own communities before even facing the cruelty of this Western world. I'm not ashamed of things that have happened to me in my past, as it's made me the loving, thick-skinned, staunch, unapologetic, Pacific warrior queen that I am. Majority of you have not experienced the things that I have had to experience to exist in the same spaces as you, and if my behavior was as you described, production would, and would was put in caps as well. All right, Kanye with the caps, have removed me. You can band together and talk all the mess you want, but stop with the exaggerated stories to push your narrative about me. It's becoming so dangerous, not only for me, but now for the children I raise in my family that are now being threatened by your fans. I don't deserve this over a TV show we made together a year ago. I'm done with this. So yeah, she had to go in and read her ass down to the floor. So now I'm looking at it like, okay, so now Nelania, you are being messy. And if we watch Drag Race, we know damn well that Nelania is notorious for being messy. In regards to the stuff, that she says, and you going on social media and perpetuating a certain image, it does look bad on their part. And I was trying to see if, there is some stuff that came from Pride, because the first post that I got, with all the information, that was from Out, so shout out to them. But I went to Pride and they said the following. They said, then when a follower asked how long the fight was between Alyssa and Queen since it wasn't aired, Melania said she couldn't say for sure because she didn't have to watch, but described it as very long, which that don't sound like the math is mathing on that. Like, how do you not know how long? Like, you could estimate if you was there. But on the other hand, fellow competitor Soa the Muse also went on live to explain that Queen wasn't being a bully. She said that she's just more blunt than the European competitors are used to, and said that people need to settle down because it's a TV show. So I do agree that when it comes down to things, y'all definitely got to be y'all can't just be out here running with these narratives, because you know how a lot of these white people are, especially when it comes to certain things, especially when it comes to people of color. Like, you got to tread lightly when it comes to certain things, because when it comes down to people of color and the way that they come at white people, particularly white queens, y'all racism be showing. And we're not going to sit up here and try to act like there aren't a lot of racist fans of Drag Race. I don't know how y'all a fan of a show that's hosted by a black queen, RuPaul, but y'all be racist in a lot of the stuff that y'all be saying online, and the fact of how y'all go harder for the dark-skinned queens versus a lot of y'all light-skinned or white faves. And there was even said on the show that Nelania could be quite messy in a lot of the shade that she provides on the show. So I'm glad that everybody came out and said what they said. But yeah, it's like when people going on Twitter and social media, I feel like the internet is the great equalizer, but it's also a hot ass mess. Like, I don't like the fact that the internet has allowed people the space to go on and be trolls and be mean spirited. It's a damn TV show. You don't know these people. Excuse me. And just because you like Melania, don't necessarily mean that y'all should run up on here and just be mean towards these other people. So I say, well, let's say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of this fight and everything that's going on between Melania, Queen Kong, and even Alyssa Edwards being dragged into the mix? So whatever your thoughts are, excuse me, and please let this show be over soon. And I really feel like with Global All Stars, if y'all do come back for a season 2, y'all really need to listen to a lot of our cries in regards to this show and make season 2 way better than season 1, because season 1 was terrible. Like, if y'all gonna go and do this show, you need to incorporate judges from all the different spinoffs. We need judges from the Philippines. We need judges from Mexico. We need judges from España. We had that already with the Hobbies, but you need to get a little more global with Global All Stars. It shouldn't just be 3 Americans judging Europeans, and then your decisions is based on the fact that you don't understand or relate to the different cultures. So we're going to start eliminating all the other people from these places, and at the end, it's going to be all the shows that RuPaul hosts that ends up being the winner. So we need to make it a little more well-rounded. These challenges need to be way more interesting, and y'all biases is definitely showed on this season. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now let's move on to our final topic. Let's talk about Patagonia, who is considering legal action because Donald Trump apparently used her image in an attack ad. And she's talking about, well, look, do what you got to do, because she is a political queen. Like I said, there's a lot of, people that we're not aware of, and just because they're not on Drag Race or any of these other shows, doesn't necessarily mean that what they do is not valid. So we have somebody in New York by the name of Marty Goo Cummings, who is another political queen who I've been aware of for many years, who has been very much on the front lines with politics and things going on in New York. So they have this Patagonia. I'm not necessarily familiar with who they are or where they're from, but they've been out here on the front lines, and they drag being political, and even did a recent video with Kamala Harris with the tagline, "Kamala is for they/them. President Trump is for you." Because there was that was a commercial that he did. So, God, I mean, who are you referring this to? Like, Donald Trump, your constituents, you already have them. Like, I don't see you trying to gain another fan base. Like, who are you going after? Log cabin Republicans? You already got all the closet cases voting for you. The screwed up homosexuals, the self-hating ones. So she's a drag queen environmental activist, I should point out, but was included in an anti-trans ad. They said the commercial also features images and clips of notable LGBT figures, including Harris posing for pictures with Patty. So, but this is not news. I just feel like y'all just grasping at straws with this whole situation. But the truth of the matter is, this is not news that Kamala Harris is for the LGBTQIA plus community. Before y'all even knew who Kamala Harris was, she was windmilling hard for the gays. She was out here pushing for gay marriage. So who you doing this at? So they said that Patty has taken to social media to denounce the Republican campaign for using the image without her consent, saying thousands of you are letting me know that I'm in a Trump ad that attacks queer and trans people. Wasn't exactly on my bingo card this year. This is what the drag queen, whose real name is Wynn Wiley, said while dressed up as the Statue of Liberty. Well, damn, I did see that post up here. Oh yeah, I have it. Let me pull it up in the Instagram.
Trans people wasn't exactly on my bingo card this year. In the ad, Trump continues to use queer people to attack Kamala Harris, to divide our nation, and to wage war against gender-affirming care, which we know saves lives. I'm not going to give the whole ad more airtime, but here's a snippet.
Every transgender inmate would have access.
Kamala's for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Is this seriously the best they've got? No, the Trump campaign did not have my permission to use my name or likeness. Yes, we are reviewing our legal options, and yes, I'm going to do what queer people always do. Turn our pain into something positive. And that is why I'm using this moment to raise money for trans and gender-affirming healthcare at the link in my bio. So if you'd like to join me in saying a big to Trump, you know where to go. Vote this fall and make America gay again.
You're fired.
Oh, God. And now on that note, I said I'm gonna just leave that there. I just wanted to move the fifth out of the way. Okay, so he said you're fired, but we should point out that the fundraiser that they were talking about, and this was from 3 days ago, basically said that they raised $15,000 for the Trans Life and Point of Pride org, providing critical trans health care. If you'd like to donate, please donate directly to either organization. The devil works hard, but Patagonia works harder. If you can't donate, watch 3 times, share your story, and press all the buttons. And then she put, should we sue too? Do what you got to do. There's already a lot of people running out here suing Trump. He ain't got no damn money. So that's probably why he relied on Melania for that book to be a bestseller. But I don't think she's going to give him any of her coins. You know, his grifting behind. So somebody goes, I didn't know you supported Kamala. I thought you stood with Palestine. Well, she did meet up with some Arab Americans. I don't know how all that went, but she's been out here meeting with all the different organizations. And here's the thing. Whatever's going on with the whole thing with Palestine, remember, that's on Trump, right? I mean, not Trump. That's on Biden right now. So take up your arguments with him because he is the current president. And a lot of people try to say, oh, yeah, well, vice presidents have a lot of power. No, they don't. Because then somebody tried to throw in, Dick Cheney. Well, first of all, George W. Bush was an imbecile. He was an idiot. So, yeah, while he didn't know what the hell he was doing, he was letting Dick Cheney, because he had way more political experience, pull all the puppet strings. But as far as like with Kamala Harris, she don't have as much power as a lot of y'all think. A lot of the vice president is the vice president for a reason. And it's to assist in a lot of situations. And Biden was doing all of what he was doing and keeping her in the background, which is one of the things I didn't like, because I always feel like you need to start utilizing your vice president during your during your tenure, not during the campaign, not because of you going through what you're going through now, and now you want to put her to work and push her out there for everybody and everybody vote for her. You should have been utilizing her before. But look, we are where we are now. I'm forgiving with the whole situation of how y'all treated Kamala Harris while he was the president. Because quiet as it's kept, a lot of people I'm hearing within the own Democratic Party didn't want her to run. So who y'all wanted? Because there wasn't going to be anybody else that y'all could get up in there. Now, in a statement given to the advocate, Patty spokesperson Jenny Dugan said, we are exploring legal options right now and have been advised not to speak further on it at the current time. When the ad was released, GLAAD president and chief executive Sarah K. Ellis said it reeked of desperation. Well, that's what all of the things that they're doing. Voters have repeatedly rejected candidates who target trans people and have strongly stated that they want extremists out of our doctors' offices and private lives, is what she added. Extremists would rather deploy divisive strategies like this than defending how they strip the right to choose, allow COVID-19 to kill millions, and wreck the economy. Now, this is what I don't understand either. I'm like, if you do not have experience in the medical field, you should not be making decisions on anybody, whether it's the LGBTQIA plus community, whether it's women's reproductive rights. You are in the legal eagle situation. You know the law. Y'all don't know medical stuff. None of y'all went to the, medical school. None of y'all did any of that. So y'all should not be coming and making any decision on anybody, let alone the LGBT community or when it comes to women's rights or anything of that matter. And the little stunts and shows that they're trying to pull to prevent Black people from voting. Because now they're saying that people need to get recertified because they're, the people that are thinking that they have the ability to vote, they're not on the list. So now people have to recertify. So they're pulling all these little stunts and shows just so that way they can lie, cheat, and steal their way back into the White House. Because they know they don't have a rat's chance of winning. And if they do win, what do they plan? What do you think they plan on doing when they get up in there? And this whole thing about, I thought you stood with Palestine. And I think people need to understand, what did she say on that? I said, I met her before the war happened. Oh. So that's what they said, that they met her before the war happened. So this was, and so, yeah, a lot of people are still talking about this complicit in the massacres of Gaza. She's been shaking hands with Netanyahu, and they calling him the Hitler of our time. And they talking about Jill Stein because Jill Stein ain't winning. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all really think that this third party thing is going to happen? I feel like that people need to understand the reality of politics is not black and white. It's not an either or type situation. And people are willing to watch this country burn because you're a one policy voter. That's what I don't understand about the evangelicals. Y'all are one policy voters too. I don't understand y'all and how y'all think. But anyway, so I say, yeah, when anybody's out here using your likeness and all this other stuff, take their ass to court. That's all I gotta say on that. So I say, let's say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so it looks like we are done with today's show. I was thinking about, did y'all want me to cover that fitness poppy Porfi Sanchez story? Porfino or what's his name? Porfirio Sanchez. Because y'all heard about the two adult film stars who was out here fighting and finally broke up, and he was talking about how they got into it, and then what was his name? BeyHive. Apparently he broke up with Fitness Poppy a year prior, whatever, and was out here talking about that how Fitness Poppy brought home chlamydia and the monkeypox, and had showed the picture with it all over his face. It was talking about how he was in an abusive relationship with him. And then I saw y'all was in the comments talking about, I guess that them steroids, that roid rage again. But yeah, I thought about talking about it, but I was like, I don't know if I care enough to bring that back up about their whole, he's talking about he's deleting his content. And how I thought a lot of people on social media thought that I was in a relationship with Fitness Poppy and then I was getting beat. I'm like, no, that's not me. I was sharing the information. But I guess a lot of times I forget I have to be specific with certain things because people just read a couple of words and automatically they go in. I'm not even posted a picture like, do Porfi and I look alike? Because I'm like, we are two different people. Yeah, we light skin and things of that nature, but we are not the same person. Porfi cute. I like the fact that he could take, and he takes dick relatively well. But he also brought up the whole thing about how he almost had an accident, and Antonio, was Fitness Poppy real name, threatened to show the video online. I'm like, first of all, wouldn't that make him look bad? Like, you out here beating somebody's guts up, going in, because you know how these men be up in here doing adult cinematography. Y'all be up in here fucking like jackhammers. And then the minute that y'all post this stuff up there, I'm like, wouldn't that make you look bad? Okay, so Porfi has the accident, but it's on your meat and you posting that on social media. People gonna clown you too. So why would you put that up there? And how he went, and BeyHive revealed that, he went in to go at his family. He exposed his adult cinematography stuff to his family and was telling Porfi, make sure you don't put your tea out here in these streets, because if you reveal to the family all the other stuff that's going on, then he gonna try to expose you too. But I'm sitting at this point, like, if you doing any kind of adult entertainment, you have to expect that the family members would know at this point that there's going to be somebody in your family that's going to expose it. Even if my family don't know, like, if, say, for instance, if I was to do adult content and it was put out there, even if I kept it a secret from my family, my mother would find out definitely, because the places that she works, when she works with people with HIV and AIDS and stuff, the gays that she know, they going to tell my business. They going to spill my tea. So I already know she will find out, even if I try to keep it from her and my father. So they didn't do that. They said they didn't read that whole. That's what I said. That was a long ass post too. They said they didn't read that. And then I was glad that shout out to you, because you went and he was like, this isn't even me. Like, you had to point out to them that it wasn't. I'm like, do y'all read? Like, and then people, I'm sorry that this happened to you. I said, first of all, ain't no man putting his hands on me and getting away with it. Actually, for context, let me put a Porfi picture, because I do have it open. And then the worst part, it's funny, I said, do y'all want me to talk about it? And I'm talking about it anyway. And then you had one of his friends, who was it? Wait, hold on, because I had to close all this stuff. Because everybody's messaging me. His friend Max, what's his name? Because I have it up here. It's Max Magnum felt the need, because I looked on his thing. I think he removed the his videos because he was getting dragged on social media. And Max, of course, gets up on it and is defending him, talking about, oh yeah, I've been friends with Fitness Poppy for a long time. And he's basically trying to say that Porfi is exaggerating what was going on. And I'm like, so if y'all both friends, it seemed like you more or less team Antonio on this. And what else? Then one of my friends, William Jesus, said, so basically he slept with his buddy and is trying to do damage control for him. Because it was like, how you getting on social media doing all kinds of damage control, but then you not willing to, but he's not getting on there and spoke out. And then Fitness probably did speak out. Well, Antonio, I'm going to start calling him that. He did speak out on the whole situation. Was he? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Did you hear something I need to know about that I need to do some research? I mean, I would not be surprised if he was one at Diddy free calls. But yeah, but I was like, Porvy's young, he'll know better. But there was a lot of people in my comments that was throwing a little shade. Child, first of all, I did find it a cackle when Porvy put this stuff up, how some of the porn stars was in the comments throwing shade. Brock Banks said, I'm proud of you speaking your truth. I know this wasn't easy for you, but you deserve so much more. You are a blessing on this planet, Hermanito, and I love you. Sean Austin said, I'm so proud of you for coming forward with this. You've been enduring the physical and mental abuse for too long, and enough is enough. We all love and support you. He's a piece of sugar honey iced tea, and you deserve so much better. Lock Rios. Oh, I know who Lock Rios was. He was in a relationship with some adult cinematographer that was abusive towards him. I remember hearing that story. He says so much dark energy in this industry. Stay safe, be kind to yourself, and take time to heal. I hope he rots. Jason Luna, who I know, said it takes a lot of courage to share this story, and I appreciate that you did. I'm glad you got out and that you're okay. Enjoy your freedom and keep focusing on loving yourself. Bo Butler, now this was the one I was looking for, said, I never could effing stand the guy. I'm so proud of you for speaking out. You deserve so much love and respect. So, and Ty Santana, who I believe is in a relationship with, there's Jordan Santana, but he actually used to go by the name Renee Rosales. I'm just going everybody to yeah, Renee Rosales all of a sudden just got into being an adult cinematographer, and apparently they're in a relationship together. So they do content. And basically he said, wait, where did I put his phone? Oh, he said, I'm sorry you went through this, friend. Bring your ass back to LA. Meow. So I guess he leaving Miami and he coming to LA. Oh, and then my friend Ray Diesel popped in too, because he actually he commented on my post in regards of what had happened, because I posted on social media and he did comment. He and I are friends, so I can say this. So he said, I'm sorry you've gone through this. Take this negative experience and learn from it and not go down this road again. You will grow from this and it will make you become a stronger person. I'm here for you. And Ray is definitely a genuinely nice guy. So I'm definitely with him on this. So shout out to him. And then also he went and said, because in my comments, he was like, oh, I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was this bad. So he was aware of things that was going on. So we're not going to sit up in here and try to act like that Porvy is so, is like the one that went off and popped off of the handle. Because there was video footage, surveillance footage, I guess, in the house that Antonio posted of them two getting into it. He's calm and talking about, oh, give me my dog. I have the papers on him and all this other stuff. And then Porvy's like, our dog. Like, this is our dog. Like, it's not just your dog, or you care more about your dog and your things and all this other stuff than me. And this is why I say, stop getting in relationships with these people that do hunching for a living. Y'all both have y'all situation. And if y'all have your own little thing where y'all are, there's an understanding. I forget who it was that said that they, that they do, adult cinematography, but they're like, but it's like they have an understanding with their relationship and they keep it separate. But it's like, if y'all both doing the same thing, then of course you got to worry about one person. I think it's even with Hollywood too. If you're two celebrities that get together, it's sort of like, okay, so you break up when you're in a relationship, but one's more famous than the other. And I actually think Antonio is more famous than Porvy is, because he's 6'4", Latino, muscular. People like that aesthetic, that whole macho thing. Whereas Porvy, he's a cutie. He got a fat ass. I watch his content because I'm an ass man. And he's got a cute body and he takes dick like a champ. So people kind of discard bottoms. I don't. I love my bottoms. Y'all help the world go round. And my penis. So, I love my bottoms. However, and the way y'all discard bottoms is very, I just don't like that. But when it comes to the other thing, y'all gravitate more towards that because of the aesthetic, the overall appeal of what men are into, because men are visual creatures. I know a lot of people have a hard time with that, women included, but men, we are visual creatures. We're all about the visual. We're all about how things look. And that's our turn on. So you said Fitness probably looks like the guy who reamed out Andrew Gillum so bad he passed out the shower himself. Hey, look, according to the girls, what the fact that he got all that body, but the penis is just average, they be like, okay, how is it that they be feeling like sometimes he be faking all of that. Like, oh, y'all, ain't no way all that meat he got is doing all of that work. Like, they feel like y'all be overacting. And see, look at the booty. Shout out to them chicks. But anyway, let me move on. So that I was like, did I really want to talk about that? I guess I did. I gave my overall thoughts, and the people in the community have talked, given their thoughts on the whole situation. And that's that. They said the way bottoms are discarded, does it give misogyny? It does. I feel like there is a sense of misogyny within the gay community, and how, gays are kind of just thrown away in regards to that. But I do want to put up Fitness Poppy's wait, why does it say stop sharing? I guess it didn't share, or maybe I stopped from sharing because it was like I was like, let me put his post up. So yeah, because I'm like, I gotta be careful with that, because sometimes it's that we put something saddens me to someone I love, financially supported, and spent many wonderful moments. And you saying financially supported, so that kind of made me wonder, when you threw that little dagger in there, does that mean that you trying to say he wasn't really making that much money from being a content creator? That you were more or less taking care of your man more than he was footing the bill in a lot of situations. And he did say in his post on, in what he had written in his long post, because it is long, chair, that he did say that he violently grabbed me by the neck and kicked me out of our hotel room in the middle of the night in a foreign country where they were in London. I guess they were filming. And on my birthday night, too, he said, promised me to flee back to the U.S. because I had no appropriate budget to stay in Europe and finish the trip. He recently threatened me with RP, I should have said, because the P word is algorithm, because I had a bottoming accident on video while filming with him. So when you go and say that, it's like, yeah, I didn't have the means to be able to take care of this entire trip. And because Fitness Poppy Antonio is where he is in his position, he's able to funnel the thing. I mean, he has his own website. I don't even think he posts content on OnlyFans and stuff. Like, Fitness Poppy actually has his own website that he posts a lot of his content on. So a woman told me this week that men don't talk to women anymore. I said it's because of all the Me Too. Yeah, it could be that too. The fact that, a lot of men feel that I can't confide in women and I can't talk to women because when I say certain things, y'all be so quick to cancel us. And they probably feel like, I just guess that men feel scared that they feel like they can't confide. I can't believe he posted this on Instagram though. I was like, look at that body, child. I said, okay, daughter, you better work that picture. But I just feel like, yeah, men feel like they can't talk to women. So they feel like, okay. And that's why I think they call like bromances or bromosexual. Like, that's a big thing now. So men feel like, I can confide in my boys and I hang out with my boys and that sort of thing, versus I can't really talk to women because a lot of women take things wrong. They want to accuse us being sexual deviants or misogynistic. So I really don't confide in women. And I wish there was a place that men could feel that they could speak to the opposite sex about things. But men are wired different. Women are more or less, I guess, thinkers, whatever the case is. Not saying that men aren't, but men are more visual. Women have to like methodically think out stuff. Think of things before they could speak on it. Whereas men, we're just visual. We look at things and we react to it. I just wish that there was a way that we could meet in the middle and be able to have these conversations without, you know, the negative stuff. So I basically wanted to give my thoughts on that. I'll probably just cut that up and put it as a clip on TikTok or one of the streaming services, so that way, you know, it could get out in that whole situation. But I still this to say, Porfi, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're gonna be able to work out what you're gonna work out. You could still, you know, just how you're gonna continue to navigate in this business. And I'm glad that you have people in the industry that genuinely care about you and have your best interests at heart. And you have those people that you can confide to. And just look, stay away from these other fellow adult cinematographers. Like, do your collabs, make your money, put that pretty ass booty to use. It is a beautiful ass. You know, shout out to all the Mexican men. Like, anyway, let me get out of that. I'm sitting there thinking about the Mexican men because I'm like, ooh, y'all. The way they be throwing that booty back, y'all hit different with that. But I will say, look, work out what you need to work out. Continue to make your content when you're ready to do it. But don't fall in love with the club is the metaphor I'm gonna use. Just go in, do what you gotta do and leave. Keep it as business. Don't get in a relationship with these guys. Just go and do your dirt. If you want to get the emotional connection from people, get it from your friends. Or find somebody who actually does not have an issue with men doing adult cinematography. It's kind of like when I was watching this thing from Matt Cullen. He was talking to a trans comedian, and she was talking about that she doesn't particularly want to date younger guys, but she dates younger guys because younger guys understand trans people. Because I think it's the times in which we grew up in that they're more aware of it. Whereas older people, they got to work through their traumas, all that other stuff. And I feel like that's what happens in the gay community too. The younger generation didn't have to deal with a lot of the traumas that a lot of them, our generation and the boomers and Gen X and so many others have had to deal with. So the younger generation, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, all that other stuff, they came up in a different time. So they're not, excuse me, as hardened as we were. Because we had to deal with a lot of discriminations. And I think to an extent, a lot of the younger generation does as well. But, you know, those old people are starting to die off. So hold on a little longer. He said, is it true hepatitis is more prevalent than the SIDA? Because that's how you say it in Espanol, in the gay community. I don't know. I have to look into that. But hepatitis, I don't know. I mean, we have herpes. HIV, I think, is more prominent within the straight community than it is with the gays, because we have PrEP, we have all these other things that we protect ourselves from. It doesn't necessarily protect from the STIs, but for the most part, when it comes to HIV and stuff, we do take, you know, a lot of us are on PrEP, a lot of us are on those situations, so we know what we got to do. And straight people need to be on PrEP too. So I don't know why people think that only the gays should be on it. Straight people, y'all need to start taking the PrEP too. So that me too, and the women treatment plays into young men voting for Trump. You can talk to them, but don't ask, can you SMD? I can tell you, trying to set guys up, that vulgar talk is a turnoff. You said Porphy is cute, but most men are ownership. And Papa gave me classic, I work, you stay at home. Yeah, there could have been a lot of that. And the fact of the matter is, when you're both content creators, and look, this is not the first time that Antonio has dated a content creator. Like I said, BeyHive is another content creator, and that's who he was dating before he got with Porphy. And when you date these younger guys, and you're the older one, and you're that Latino, Puerto Rican alpha male, which a lot of them play into that, you get into these nuances with stuff. The manhole, I ain't that. Wait, when was the manhole around? First of all, I'm not that old. Now you're going to have me Googling. Wait, it was a gay bar, because now you're talking about manhole. Oh, wait, is the manhole recent? Because I'm like, wait, hold on. Because I was sitting there thinking, you know what I was thinking? The ramrod. I was thinking of ramrod, because I'm sitting there like, wait a minute. Now, there's some gay spots that are like real old. Okay, so they said, because I had to look it up. They said 10 months. Okay, so it's a recent club. So I take it back, because I was sitting there trying to think like manhole. I was like, wait, I'm thinking about them old leather bars that was in the movie Cruising. I was like, child, when Cruising came out, I wasn't even born yet. But it was like, It said, had the most amazing time at Manhole yesterday night. Have not seen many reviews, so I thought I'd contribute mine for folks who are interested. I'm on Reddit reading this. Interested in the party, but want to know what the vibe is like. Party space was very much low light, dungeon vibe. You pay $35 for entry and get your stripping and coat check. Hangers are provided depending on the timing. Coat check / change out section could get busy, which is also a good time to trade friendly smiles, flirty winks. I came in around 7:15 and folks were already getting busy, but it really picked up closer to 8 p.m. Crowd was very mixed in terms of appearance, age, size, but I will say there's something for everyone. That's what I've always liked about New York City sex clubs. There's some that segregate, like, oh, you got to have the perfect Adonis six-pack body, whatever, like a fitness poppy type look. But then I do like the places where you can mix it up because you never know what you're going to run into when you go to these places. I would never go to Nubian Dukes. I've heard people that went there, and I've heard people that have said that that place is trash. So I would never go there. But anyway, so they said there is a space in the middle of the venue to sit down, get water or snacks, and socialize. Bananas, Gatorade, sodas are provided FOC in this area. It's perfect just to hang around here for a bit and get to know someone. While folks here are friendly, some might be winding down from a previous session. So definitely give space to folks who want to just calm down and for a bit. Read the room. To each corner of the social space are various slings and cubicles. Ooh, this sounds like fun. No, I've never been to the Manhole, but now I might be interested. I was like, wait, where's this place? And why have I never heard of the Manhole? Like, normally I'll be on it when it comes to the parties in New York. And if y'all see me out about, mind your business. But for the most part, when I be going to these places, like, I haven't been to this one. And then I heard they oh wait, what was the other place that I used to go to that was like literally across the street from Wendy Williams' studio that not the Rambles. I've never been to the Rambles. I know people that have been to the Rambles, but they rejudged it. There's this little play space that was literally on literally around the corner from my gym. That was like 27th, 28th Street, whatever. No, they don't sell alcohol and drugs at a lot of those parties. I mean, you can bring your own stuff, which I know some people do, or a lot of times when you go to those type of parties, you can pregame, or you can go to clubs, because I've done that before, where I will go to certain parties and at 4:00 3 in the morning, if I'm feeling a little frisky, I will go to certain parties that would because in New York, clubs close at 4 in the morning. So there will be times when I will go afterwards if I didn't feel like going home yet, and I was feeling a little, whorish. I would take my behind to one of the sex clubs or whatever, and those parties would be done. One of my friends actually worked at one of them. So I would actually go to one of the parties, and it would go on until like 7 a.m. And we would do that. If we would get bored at other places, or we would go to the Cock and it was boring up in there, we were like, okay, let's go over here to this situation. And the parties be over like 7, 8 in the morning. So I used to live for the after hours. But now as I get older, I don't have the energy or the patience to do it anymore. But every now and again, I, take a gander. I'm single. But yeah, they don't have drugs or alcohol. Well, they don't have alcohol and any of the other stuff in a lot of those places. I kind of wish that they did have like alcohol served at those places, but they do it at certain bars that have dark rooms where they do that. But anyway, so I was not planning on doing a 4-hour show, but it is what it is. So we are done with today's show. Tune in next time for a brand new episode of Chris Emla Unfiltered. I'm trying to think when's the next time I'll come on. I'm gonna try to come on. I can't guarantee I can come on tomorrow or Wednesday, but I'm gonna try to do a show within those 2 days. If not, I will be back on Thursday because I'm going to be pretty busy this week, but I'm gonna try to give you all a show. Even if I have to come on late, like 8, 9, 10 o'clock, and give you all a show on Wednesday or whatever, I may have to do that. If there's some things going on, I'll have to prep a show and then just have it ready by the time the next day, so I can just go live and give y'all what needs to be given, because I already know within these next 48 hours, something crazy about to go down. I can't miss out. So I was going to say thank you all for tuning in. If you have not already, please hit that like button, that subscribe button. Also, please smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Emla Unfiltered. I want to thank all of you that were in the comments, chatting with me today in the live stream and things of that nature. And yeah, so love you all for watching. And until next time, ciao, darlings.